Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the James Brown Podcast. I'm your host Raj, and with me as always is my co-host Spencer.
Hey everybody.
How you feeling this week, man?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm feeling really good too.
I actually just came off of a sweet D&D night with my friends.
Yeah? That sounds like fun.
Now, I'm not like a pro D&D player, like my character's only level 2, but the stories that have come out of these D&D nights are just ridiculous. I'm actually dying to tell you. I know you're like, are you going to tell me? Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so this wasn't last night, but okay, my first time ever playing D&D, imagine.
Okay.
The game master, the dungeon master, sorry, one of my friends from work, he had planned this huge, meticulous adventure for us to go through. So we're all sitting at a table, and there's too many of us. There's like 8 of us playing. And he just invited a bunch of guys from work. So some of them weren't actually in the mood, you know what I mean? They weren't really role-playing. So this big bartender walks up to our table, and we're all sitting around it. And he's this big ogre, and he goes, so, the guy that was just, telling you about this stuff, he's gone. He left, so you have to pay the bill. And this crazy guy at my work, like, he's legitimately crazy. He went, no. And he asked the dungeon master, can I chop his head off? So he chopped into the ogre's neck, which did nothing because we're all level 1. Okay. And we ended up in a 2-hour-long battle. It was supposed to be like a tutorial. This is how you play Dungeons & Dragons. So we're now launched into battle. We're trying to figure out what to do. This one guy who's a magician is just not rolling right. So his flame shots are going everywhere. We end up burning everything down. We're all trapped inside. We're having to and this is where I was beginning to get in awe of D&D, because I didn't realize that you can do whatever you want to. There's standard action, and there's a minor action, and there's all this stuff. And so we're trying to get the crap out of this building before it falls down, because the dungeon master is pretty adept at balancing things, saying you have this many turns left. So we eventually kill the ogre. We get out of the building, but one of these guys, he's really also kind of crazy, went back into the building because there was he was going to rob it. He's like, I'm going to rob it, because we were out of encounter now, so you can do whatever the crap you want. Okay. But nobody wanted the guy to live, so we trapped him in there, and the building fell down, and he ended up dying. And so we all split our ways, but the dungeon master was upset, because he's like, look, guys, it's going to be really difficult to follow the story if you all separate, but we're like, screw this. So that game ended up absolutely failing. So
that's awesome.
Now, it got kind of better, because we did another night, and it went fine. But that campaign kind of ended sorely, because a lot of the people don't play with us anymore. So we tried another night, last night, 5 people. And so I joined the crew later, because the team that had played before me, I was supposed to come and I couldn't. They had gotten into this huge fight with this hobgoblin army, okay? But in the midst of the battle, one of the guys actually, they won, but one of the guys goes to the Carpenters Guild and using a bunch of awesome bluff rolls, forges a document that pretty much stated that the Carpenter Guild was going to build a action figure collection of our team for 20,000 gold.
Okay.
And we walked over to the the toy shop that was going to sell them, and we bluffed them into agreeing. And so we ended up, with all costs aside, with an extra 5,000 gold for our party. And that doesn't happen for level 1s. So they divvied it up between everybody, which didn't include me. So they're like, you need to come up with a backstory that lets you kind of come with us. So I was like, okay, I'll be the son of the counselor of the town that's sending you out to capture the prisoners that the hobgoblins took. So I come in, and I'm like, oh, I'm in the party, whatever. I'm kind of a goof, a dumb meathead that hates my dad. That's kind of my backstory. So we're going in and talking to one of the prisoner hobgoblins, right? And this crazy guy, he in roleplay gets so into RP, it's ridiculous. He comes up and we're like, so his name's Christian. We're like, Christian, you need to, introduce yourself into the story somehow. He's like, okay. So he's just sitting there. This guy's scary. He legitimately makes me afraid.
In real life?
In real life.
Okay.
So he's sitting here like this, dead face. So we're trying to intimidate this guy, right? He walks up and goes, how much strength will it take for me to break all of his fingers right now? And he's like, I don't know. So he rolls a crit and breaks all these goblins' fingers, and then proceeds to later on just cut his head off. And he's trying to threaten to kill everyone in the party. And we're like, dude. And it just got crazy. I had a great uncle that I introduced into the story, and he ended up murdering him. He took a bolt from a crossbow and stabbed him in the neck 4 times in front of me, in front of his his nephew, and he said, I did you a favor. I'm like, you're nuts, man. You're absolutely crazy.
I think I get along with this Christian guy.
So anyways, and we ended up in this hobgoblin castle, and that's where it ended. We were kind of at equal terms at that point, but things got messed pretty quickly. But all I'm pretty much saying is Dungeons & Dragons, if you have all the right material and a great DM, is not as geeky as everyone seems to think it is.
I never thought we'd talk about D&D on this podcast.
Well,
I like D&D a lot. It's a lot of fun.
I love the imagination. Like, if you have good DM who encourages that, like, it's really cool.
Do you know what edition you were playing?
I believe, not Essentials, but I was playing, like, I don't know. He has this online builder that has all the packs. I think we have all of them. It's 4.0.
Okay, you're playing 4th edition then.
4th edition, okay. Not 3, not 3, 4. They have all the stuff. I haven't really inquired that much. It's only my 4th time, right?
So I think, I've heard that 4th edition is very beginner friendly.
Yeah, I mean, 3rd edition, I think something was weird about it. But these guys had messed up campaigns. Like, by level 8, they wanted to do something epic. So the DM let them get into an alternate universe somehow. Ooh. And they ended up facing and beating God in that universe with a bunch of crits. And the DM's like, whoa, what am I supposed to do? Because, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of cool. I don't know.
There's a law I heard in D&D that if you give something an HP bar, players will figure out how to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we ended up beating a cave bear by...
Cave bear?
See, that's what happened. Let me explain. We were at my uncle Silius's house because we wanted to find directions to the hobgoblin place, right?
Okay.
It was actually cool because it was an introduction to the story that I suggested, being that I was the counselor's son and he was my uncle or whatever, right? And the DM just went along with it, so it was cool. So we're talking to Uncle Silius. I'm telling everyone he's crazy. And so he's like, I need 2 people to go hunting with me. And I was like, well, I'll go with you. And Christian says, I'll go too. And winks at me. I'm like, okay. So I was kind of encouraging my teammates to steal from this guy, right?
I'm really liking this Christian guy so far.
Yeah, I was kind of encouraging my teammates to steal from this guy because he's crazy and my dad would send him gifts. I'm making all this up, but the DM's going with it. So we go out and he's like, I need as many people as possible, but only 2 people volunteered, me and Christian. He's like, oh, okay. So we go to the cave. And he signals and looks back at us. And Christian takes that as this guy's gonna be, like, menacing. He's like, no! And he stabs him in the neck 4 times and kills him. And the guy's like, cave bear! And dies. And a cave bear comes out. And me and Christian, I'm like, Christian, peace, man! Because the DM's like, you have 1 action left before the fight starts. I'm like, peace! So I book it. And I'm like, I yell as loud as I can to the cabin, guys, help me out. And so all the teammates heard from the cabin and came running out. And Christian's like, I'm getting him myself. And I was like, Christian, you're nuts, man!
He's so manly.
And then Christian's like, I tell everyone Christian killed my uncle. And he's like, I wasn't going to hide it. It was completely true. And I'm like, you are freaking messed up, man. I was legitimately getting fear for my own life.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, it was, anyways. So this is not the D&D J&B podcast.
We can make a podcast about
We could.
D&D.
It's actually, I could.
You gotta invite me next time, man. That sounds
Totally.
like a lot of fun.
If there's room, man, like 5 or 6 people, it's pretty topped out, but some people might bow out.
5 is a good party number.
I agree.
This should be
We had a healer. I was a fighter, so I could, I was defense, plus I had a lot of, control of the map. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah.
Before we talk about anime, can we talk about manga?
Sure.
You know where I'm going with this. I want to talk about the big 3 in particular.
Okay. Oh,
and 2 of the big 3 in particular.
I know where you're going.
Because One Piece has been great consistently for the last, 2 years. It's so good. Musi.
Oh, is it Musi?
Well, he calls him Bully, but he used to call him Musi in the Gladiator fight. Oh, he's so funny. But One Piece aside, Naruto and Bleach. Okay, let's talk about Naruto first, shall we?
Should we spoiler this?
I'll put a spoiler on Naruto. No, I won't. I'll be very vague about it.
Okay.
Because I actually care about Naruto. Naruto's still kind of good. Mm-hmm. Bleach, I don't give a shit about.
Okay.
So
well,
Naruto...
you've just stuck with it because you're faithful.
Yeah. So Naruto, I'll be very vague, has gone full Final Fantasy. I've said this before to you. It's just... I think this war arc has been going on for around 2 years at this point. It's been a while. And, it's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it. But they're finally, a couple weeks to a month ago, the final bad guy, he's supposed to be the final bad guy, he attained the final form that he wanted to, he got the power that he wanted, and he's like, okay, this is it, I'm in my final form. Naruto had his 4th form change, and Naruto's like, now I'm in my final form, and they're like, this is it, which one of our forms is gonna be the better one? And they're fighting, it's cool, and then suddenly the bad guy is like, just kidding. And then his great grandmother takes hold of him, and she's like, no, this is my fight now. And she possesses him. What the hell just happened? Yeah. Where did this come from? What the hell, man?
I followed Naruto in the first season, not even Shippuden. I followed Naruto all the way through. I even watched a bunch of those filler ones that you told me not to watch because I like filler. But,
I know you like filler.
I got to Shippuden and it wasn't as fun as Naruto was. It
got more serious.
It's legitimately good. Naruto is a great series, Naruto Shippuden, but I just couldn't get into it anymore. Especially because One Piece had all that seriousness but a lot of fun.
Yeah, One Piece can balance very well.
So I was at One Piece at that point, so I got swayed over. I know my brother's really into Naruto now. He's gotten caught up and stuff.
But yeah, Naruto, okay, wait. So he got a new form when the war just started. Then he attained another one, which is the perfect version of that form. And then he mixed his old powers into that form to make another form. And then just now, someone else gave him more powers, and he mixed all of them together into this new form. And this is supposed to be the
great-grandma
peak.
controlling it?
No, this is before the great-grandma came to be.
Oh boy.
And it's just, his new, before this last one, they were all at kind of a natural progression. They made sense. But how many more forms do you need to give this guy? Come on. Just keep it at one. Really. He doesn't need any transformations. This isn't Dragon Ball Z. How many
Final Fantasy
How many Super Saiyans do we need? Anyway, that's Naruto. That one thing just kind of, it's just get to the fight already. Just give me the last fight. That's all I'm waiting for. Now Bleach, if you actually care about Bleach spoilers, which you shouldn't because Bleach is not very good and hasn't been good for the last 4 years, go ahead and skip this part. Go to the end. Go when we actually start talking about anime. But yeah, Bleach. So Ichigo has been out of the manga for 8 months. At this point.
Real life 8 months.
Real-time 8 months. He's been basically on the Bleach equivalent of Snake Way, trying to get to the fight of the Quincy's. And honestly, first I thought it was a stupid idea. But actually, recently I thought it was kind of a good idea because it gives more time for the side characters that have been neglected for God knows how many years. So, it's because Kubo's I need to actually give all the people Bankai who I said have Bankai, but I haven't actually shown it off. So that's basically what he's been doing. But man, this arc so far has been bad. It's been bad. It's done two good things. Two. One, it showed Rukia getting Bankai. And her Bankai, do you remember Rukia?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do.
The emo girl?
Yeah, basically. One of Ichigo's love interests. Her Bankai was one, really cool. Because it's based on ice, get it? It's cool. No, but it's actually pretty sweet.
Oh, that's bad.
And actually, Kubo made it really beautiful. Her Bankai is extremely just nice to look at.
It's weird because she's not exactly depicted as a beautiful character.
But it's just the outfit that comes with it is really nice. I really like it. And just the way she uses ice is very artistic. Also, the fight she did against that one guy, really cool. Anyway, that and it introduced the best villain this series has ever had, Masked Masculine, who is a luchador Quincy. And his special power is the more people cheer his name, the stronger he gets.
Sorry, if that's the best villain this series has ever had, doesn't that mean this series is really lame?
Yes.
Oh no.
But he's so funny. Every time he gets beaten up, he says some line, and then he'll say, "Isn't that right, James?" And James is his one fan. And James is always just hanging out the back, and he'll just yell, "That's right, superstar!" And then he gets stronger, and he'll be part of the fight.
He doesn't have any fans?
He has just James.
But wait, but if his superpower is to be bolstered by fans, he has one fan.
James can multiply himself.
Oh,
so that's how he gets
gosh.
stronger. It's ridiculous.
James is lame. This guy is lame.
Master Masculine is so funny. He actually, the best part about him is the fact that, he thinks he's the main character of Bleach, and he thinks that the Quincy's are the good guys.
The mask character?
Yeah, and he thinks everybody else is a villain. Renji shows up, and he's like, "Finally, my arch nemesis has shown up. I can become the true hero of this story." And he's like, "I will never let villains succeed." And then Renji's like, "I need to go Bankai." He's like, "Go ahead. A hero will wait for his rival to go to the final for him." And he's just so funny. Oh man, Master Masculine was great. They showed Kenpachi's Shikai, which is really stupid.
What's a Shikai?
It's the form before Bankai, the first release. Bankai's the second release. You should know that. You watched Bleach. Yeah.
A long time ago.
But yeah, Ichigo's back. He's at the power cycle again. The power cycle's restarted. Where Ichigo gets a new power, beats some bad guys up, beats the main villain, then gets his ass kicked by a new bad guy, then has to get another power.
Well, I can't say that I know since I only watch Spirit Society or Soul Society. Whatever it's called.
But yeah, he's back at the top of that loop, and at this point, he has every single power that's ever been revealed at Bleach. He has everything at this point. There's no, this is why this is the final arc. Yeah. So Bleach is still annoying me. It's terrible. It's crap.
I'm kind of glad I dropped it and didn't even continue it.
I wanted to end. Yeah. Just please end so I don't have to put up with you anymore.
You ready for the recap?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll hit the button.
Go ahead. Well,
What?
usually we don't start with the Crepe Corner.
We've already been doing pretty much Crepe Corner. Okay, well,
Hope you guys can wait a little bit longer for anime talk.
okay.
All right.
That's why there's like quick links on the bottom. If you find our witty banter unwitty.
Can't believe we got Crepe Corner right away. Last time I think we got it like second or third.
Yeah. Am I drawing or is like
going for
as
it.
per usual?
Yep. What'd you get?
Very first anime watched.
Ooh.
Okay, now this is tough because what do you classify as an anime, and how far back do you want me to go? Seeing as
As far back as you can remember.
well,
Do you want me to start?
yeah, you go ahead. I have to.
You have to think about it, don't you? Okay, I started watching anime when I was very young, probably around 5 to 6 years old. And I know for a fact there were 3 anime that I started watching first. I don't know which particularly came first, so I'll just mention all 3. Sailor Moon, Gundam Wing, and Cardcaptor Sakura. Those were the 3 that I started with, and then Dragon Ball Z came later. But it's definitely between Sailor Moon and They're both anime for women. But those are the 2 that I started with. I have huge amounts of nostalgia for them. I love Cardcaptors and Sailor Moon. They were great. Well, I mean, Sailor Moon wasn't great, but I still like it. Gundam Wing, man, that anime had a lot of politics. I have no idea how I managed to watch that. There's very, very little mech fighting for the majority of that series. But I guess what you get is really good, so I just stuck through it when I was little. But yeah.
For me, I was thinking about it, and I don't know if people are going to agree with this, but I feel like my 3, because we're going with 3, because I think they all happened at the same time, roughly, was Digimon Season 1,
Ooh, nice.
Metabots, and Monster Rancher.
Oh, Metabots.
Now, I don't know. Yeah, I know. So I don't know. You classify those as anime. Maybe?
Of course, yeah, they're all anime.
They're dubs, but those 3. I mean, there's
I watch all of them in dub. It's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, so
Still anime.
Digimon, for me, has so much nostalgia for me. Anybody, back in the day where you'd say Digimon's better than Pokemon or whatever, it just sucks because no one could really capitalize on what made Digimon good enough to make it into a legitimate card game or video game.
It had a card game.
Well, it didn't get as popular as Pokemon.
It's because the card game
And so
didn't
it got rubbed
play
in,
very well.
it rubbed in dirt. But honestly, the Digimon series, if you watch it in sub, because honestly, the dub, like I was trying
All
to
those
watch
puns,
it,
all
so
those
many
puns.
puns, and they don't give any characters room to actually have like realistic breathing patterns.
Yeah.
It's just nonstop. But Metabots, Metabee, like Metabots was funny.
Metabots.
Okay, the first season, great. Second season,
Not very good.
But first season, that was great. And Monster Rancher, that was one of the first cartoon anime series that I watched that had a whole bunch of heart and a whole bunch of like emotional, huge world adventure stuff.
I have very vague memories of Monster Rancher.
I rewatched it.
Yeah, that's the only one I haven't rewatched. Because I don't know, I never really got into it when I was younger.
Those 3, I think, kind of shaped me into the adventure-loving kind of anime watcher that I am now, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good question.
Do you want to do another one? 'Cause that was a small question.
Sure, we're 18 minutes in and no anime, but that doesn't matter.
All right.
Dum 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 dum.
We got a lot of these
this
to get
is long. What character archetype would you like to see more of in animes? Tsundere?
For example, tsundere, kudere,
Yandere.
yandere, or ojo-sama, etc., etc.
Oh, I see. Ojo-sama. So this was just recently asked by Sean, correct?
I don't know who asked it, but somebody did.
I think it was Sean.
I don't.
love you, Sean.
I don't keep track of who watches or who asks our questions.
Come on, man. You're the, what do you call it?
Social media.
Yeah, what's the other
Guy?
word you said?
Oh, community manager.
Yeah, community manager.
Yeah.
That makes you sound important, doesn't it? Okay, well, honestly, not Ojo-sama.
No, I don't like the ojo-sama archetype either.
Definitely, I just threw it away. I want to see all of them. You answer. I need to get this paper back.
I want yandere. I don't see enough of that, I think, and it's probably my favorite archetype just because I find it extremely interesting that someone can love someone so much that they'll do psychotic things to them.
What's Kudere?
Kudere is someone who's very, like, cold, emotionless. I hate that archetype.
Oh, like, well, who would be an example that I'm thinking of at this point? I don't know.
You see it more in Harem. I don't think you would have seen it.
Okay. Well, honestly,
I know yandere exists mostly in like psychological anime or horror anime. Those two kinds of anime I don't really like. Horror anime I can't get into because I like horror movies because they can actually scare me. Anime doesn't scare me. It just doesn't. So horror anime doesn't do it for me.
okay, I know. I figured out my character.
Go ahead.
None of what you wrote on there as examples. For me, I would like more of an archetypical main shonen character.
Oh, come on. We have so much of that.
No. I mean like a Daichi. Like, a character who does not, like, fluctuate. How many daichis have you seen recently? Every anime is harem now.
All the ones with them are still ongoing. We still have our Bleach and our actually Bleach got canceled. We still have our One Piece and our Naruto. They're all shonen protagonists.
Yeah,
the stereotypical shonen protagonists.
I like that though.
We have enough of it.
We don't have enough tsunderes or ojo-samas or oni-samas.
Those will never die out because...
Well, neither will the shonens.
Yeah,
Can't I have my opinion?
The thing with...
Can I not?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying
I didn't mock your weird psychotic thing.
Okay, look. The thing with the Tsuns and stuff, they have a very fast life cycle. They come and they go pretty quickly.
Well, because they're Tsuns, then they get fixed.
But the shonen characters are long lasting. They just stay and they don't leave.
Because it's great, and that's the kind of anime that I like.
I mean, Bleach should leave. Ichigo needs to leave. He's just not good.
Yeah. So those are our opinions.
Okay, let's actually talk about anime now.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit the button. Hopefully we can talk about an anime.
Go for it.
Okay,
Chaika the Coffin
good.
Princess.
I wrote notes.
Okay.
Okay.
Chaika this week was very... It didn't really progress the story much, but it built the world more.
Yes, it did.
Which
That's
was
what I was
very
thinking.
interesting. Because my brother is, dumb as a sack of dicks. But he...
What the heck?
He's a meathead. He watched this episode and he was like, Chaika was so shitty this week. Nothing happened. And I watched it and I was like, this is really good. Like, there was a lot of subtleties.
My exact quote that I wrote down at the end of this episode was, I got really excited this episode because it reminded me of watching TVs on a Saturday when I was young. It was an adventure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when they were riding off away from... It was so classic. They go in, this group, something's wrong, they help the group, and then they leave.
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean.
And it felt like an old school Saturday cartoon.
And the nice thing was it wasn't filler because the entire time Toru was trying to figure out things about the Emperor. And both him and Gillette, and they both realized that there's nothing. Nobody knows anything for sure about him.
Speaking of Gillette, isn't it funny that Toru learned his first name through his fantasy vision with Chaika?
Was that his actual first name though?
The guy like the running person, the manager of the company over Gillette.
Yeah.
Actually called him by that name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He said his first name. I'm like, what? Like Toru actually learned it from this like fantasy vision that he had. Because remember, he was like, what? Who's that?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I guess that magic was stronger than he thought.
This was a good episode. I didn't really, as soon as you see that people stop, you know exactly where this episode's going.
Yeah.
But it's just the subtleties and all about Toru finding more about the Emperor, trying to ask questions, about Chaika seeing that people still want her empire and her thinking maybe I should do more than just a funeral.
And I like that Gaz is set out to be someone who like set all of this gundos and vehicles all in motion.
He's such a huge mystery.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anything about it. You've only been told that he's evil. The only ones who've actually seen him are the heroes, and only one of them have actually been alive and in sound mind to say anything, and he didn't mention anything about the Emperor.
And what I like is, though there is... Sorry, I'm coughing all the time, guys, but...
you've been sick for 3 weeks, come on.
I work in a pool, like a cold pool, with children coughing and sneezing in my face all day.
You should wear a surgical mask.
I was going to say something, but I'm going to not say something. No, I'm not.
Can it be worse than calling your own brother dumber than a sack of dicks?
It's slightly racist, so I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
Not that I'm racist or anything.
Oh yeah, no, you and your entire family are just fine.
We're not. No, I didn't mean that. Whatever. Anyways, so I'm sick, but what I was saying is, what I like is that even though there's a slight harem in this, where there's a bunch of girls going for the one character, not really, there's two. Frederica doesn't even count. She just wants to kill him. She's yandere.
No, she's not at all. One thing I really, sorry, just keep whatever you're saying in mind.
Yeah.
I don't want you to forget it. One thing I like so much about Frederica is that despite her not doing too much in the group, her opinion is valued. When they're all discussing something, Toru takes what she says to heart, and he'll actually think about it. That's cool.
Yeah, and like what I was saying, I'm remembering, is that the harem is understated. It's not overwhelming, and the story always takes precedence over the fact that these girls are and it's, honestly, all the other girls are falling out. Like, Akari doesn't do anything except joke, honestly. She's not really that big of a love interest at all. Chaika is like the only one who we're seeing some romance develop. And I think, honestly...
I don't think anybody else is an option for him.
And then I like that, because it's kind of moving away from the harem a little bit. So, not that I don't like harem.
You don't like harem.
Harem's good in paces. when I'm watching 17 anime series trying to review it, I don't have time for If Her Flight Breaks.
You told me that you wanted to kind of catch up on it for Flight Breaks.
Yeah, when it's all over. I will.
But why?
Well, because you're liking it, so I'll probably like it.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit the button. I'm trying to. We had a little bit of a spat this week.
You and I got into a pretty big argument.
We never fight, me and him, ever.
Oh man, this was vicious.
We got in a huge, but it was textual. So honestly, we were just sitting there with our relaxing on a couch. Probably, our fingers were getting more mad than us. But yeah. So anyways, but that was me trying to redeem it a little bit. Your opinions are your opinions. I respect them.
Hit the button.
Okay. That was like that moment in, I'm gonna hit the button, but that was like the moment in Tangled where the main character was on the horse and he's like, wow, you're really nice. And the horse just looks at him like, you're a loser. Men don't have man talks. No? Okay. Anyways. Okay.
That was a good movie.
Kawaii Complex is my baby.
Go for it.
So, I took notes because last week I almost forget everything. This episode, I really liked it because honestly, the characters are really, really, really shining through situationally. And as I always have said before, that's important to me. If a character can be built up enough that when they're put in situations, they don't change dramatically or for stupid reasons without logic, I like that. And Usa is trying really hard to find a balance between his past and his present. Because at this point in his past, remember we talked about him being the circus freak show?
Right.
All the people would come to him. Well, he moved away from that school and that high school in order to get away from those kids, right? You know, like the Chuniubu syndrome, people would move away from the middle school because they had an embarrassing past, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, he moves to the Kawaii Complex to get away from that. And what happens is there's this funny exchange, where the characters are sitting at a table and Mayumi is talking about how annoying it is for the youth to just set up a group date and a mixer and all this, because she's like embittered by love, right?
Right.
And so then all of a sudden Usa gets a phone call by his buddy and saying really loudly, hey, you want to do a mixer and we'll go to karaoke? And Mayumi's like, right, gonna kill him. He's like, well, the devil's on my shoulder, so I'm gonna hang up. He's like, the devil? What? And he hangs up. So anyways, he's texting and he's saying that there's this girl who wants to go there. I didn't write her name down, but there's a girl who's going there and she's really cute and it'd be nice to know her. And he sends her a picture. And it turns out that the two girls like analyze her and saying, oh, she made a high school debut, take off her hair, everything. And it happens to be the freak show girl who talked about ghosts all the time from high school. So when the girl found...
And now she's like really cute?
Yeah. But when the girl found out that Usa was there, she totally cut ties and said, and he got disinvited from the party. So it was kind of sad.
Interesting.
So I'm going to try not to recap as much as I did last week. But all in all, the job he took with the...
Yeah.
Okay, so he's working there, and then that group that he got disinvited to showed up at his workplace. And because he's kind of like a servant guy, they were kind of belittling him a little bit. And what happened was he was serving them, and he was asking what to order, but they were just destroying him. Because the girl said that he was a really messed up kid in high school, and that he would always talk to her about ghosts. And she totally went 180. Like, such a dick move. And
interesting.
So he's like, and so the friend of Usa and the girl are actually like really embarrassed because all the other people just are ripping Usa apart.
Oh, they're not defending him?
No.
It's too bad.
They're not defending him. They're actually like, but you can tell they're visibly hurt by it, which is kind of cool because I like the way the artist draws emotion. So Usa's like, and it's really sad because he's sitting there. He's like, it's okay. Like, it's just work. He's like, maybe they'll make my favorite dinner at home tonight. Or, maybe Ritsu will smile for me a little bit. Or maybe Mayumi won't hurt me so much today. And it's, like, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
and
man, I don't even like him. That hurts, man.
And I was sitting there and he's like just about to cry. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Ritsu comes bursting through the door, stands up and says, Usa, we're waiting for you downstairs. It's a special request. And she's dressed up like a really nice kimono and everything. And all the people just shut up. Cause he's like, oh, she's probably single. He can never get anybody, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So she comes in. She's like, I really want you there. And so she walks away, like she just stomps away cause he got requested. And so he's like blushing, right? So the two girls, Sayaka and Mayumi go, and Mayumi just undresses almost everything. And then Sayaka puts makeup on and they just start rubbing themselves over Usa. Usa, we need you downstairs. And so Usa leaves, Mayumi leaves, and Sayaka
some good friends.
Sayaka wrecks the crap out of the girl. She rips off like her, she like blames her for having fake eyelashes and makes fun of her hair and all this stuff. And everyone just starts making fun of the girl. Like, it wasn't a really good way, but it was really cute because I really liked the build between, I'm totally I'm saying her name right?
Ritsu?
Yeah, Ritsu. I don't know why it sounded weird. Ritsu got super embarrassed because she never stands up in public. She hates being center of attention. She leaves the room. So Usa gets there, she's not there. And he's like, what the heck? But it was really cute. They had a cute moment where they're sitting on the couch or sitting beside each other at the table. They made his favorite meal and like she smiled at him and it was just really cute. Like I legitimately felt horrible for Usa this episode because I have been the brunt of some vicious personal attacks before, but nobody came to help me out. And I was like cringing inside for Usa. So this episode, you have legitimate reasons for not watching it, I understand. And Usa was a creep. But the way I'm seeing it is the artist, the artist and the mangaka who made this, if that's what it's based on, is really, really, really bringing Usa back up to a place where he's totally relatable. And I like that. So far, the series has been one of the better ones. It's in the top 5, in my opinion, for me. I always look forward to it. But honestly, maybe 7. There's a bunch of sports anime that I'm super pumped about right now. But Kawaii Complex is definitely, I'm glad I held on to it. So honestly,
I think a lot of people can relate to getting berated like that by a group. It's, high school has not been some fun times for some people.
Especially when you were in middle school or elementary school and you were with your friends and you were a different person and you're trying to change yourself. Like, I understand where the girl was coming from. She was weird. She would always come to Usa and say, I've seen the spirits. You got spirits all over you. So she didn't want to associate herself with Usa because she didn't want him
to tell them
about her. Cause she had, right? But then to go around and put it back on him and just totally like make fun of him was not a good idea. Yeah. So anyways, Kawaii Complex was great. And I'm excited.
Man, if I were Usa, I would have called her out on that.
But Usa just...
But it's not his
he's
character.
He's really self-conscious,
I understand.
Right? Yeah.
I understand.
No, it was a good episode, and I'm excited for the one tomorrow. So, yeah. Thank you for not berating it this time. I'm really glad we had that conversation this week. Okay, next button.
All right.
Oh, your turn.
Now it's my turn. If her flag breaks. I am so happy this anime has gone back to the comedy. It dropped all the heavy stuff that was last week. All the heavy, weird stuff that didn't really fit. And it's just back to the funny. It's back to the silly, over-the-top stuff that would never happen in real life. It's just back. It basically did what Akuma no Riddle did. It just decided, no, you know what? Let's go back to what was good.
Well, it makes sense for an anime to have a little bit of a slump. I mean, it was episode 7 or 6,
but it
right?
didn't make sense in the it didn't fit. Everybody's on summer break now, so we're really nearing the end of this series. And it's nice he's spending time because he's all alone with his fake older sister at her house, and her family's like doting on him and stuff. So it's like he has a family again. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can understand that feeling. And then, of course, Akane says she misses him, so Ruri comes on a goddamn jetpack and picks him up and takes her to Akane's mansion.
A jetpack?
Yeah. Well, she's a robot, right? So.
Oh, okay.
And then all the other girls, plus Megumu, get really worried, so they rush to Rudy's house.
He's a guy!
Except for, that's why I said plus Megumu. Oh. I said except for Megumu.
All the other girls plus Megumu.
Yeah, that's why I said plus Megumu. He doesn't count.
It feels like nobody's defending him anymore.
It's too late, man. It's been too long.
Oh.
He's a woman as far as I'm concerned. And Nanami, of course, but she's in her other place, her blade field, whatever she is. It's nice. They decide to go visit her because she's actually really sad being alone. Typical Soon stuff. So I told you that this anime pulls a complete gorilla moment near the end.
You said that.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, Ruri is in repairs for summer. So she has a portable model, and that is this tall. And it is so cute. It is adorable. She has a giant head.
Is it Chibi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giant head, tiny body, Chibi Ruri. So goddamn cute. And she just rides on top of people's heads. Adorable. Amazing. And so I say that because this is set up for a great joke later. That happens later. So this gorilla moment comes later, but before Sota meets Nanami's younger sister, and it's actually revealed that the two of them have only met 3 times. You find out that Nanami's father actually just bangs multiple women and has multiple daughters. And and apparently he's not very close with Nanami because she calls him His Highness.
Oh.
While the sister calls him my father.
Yeah.
And I just kind of made it know that like she doesn't call him father or anything. We didn't see him this episode, he was just referred to. And she says that the youngest one is the one that gets all of his attention. Also, she's the berserker. I also did not know that was a chess piece, but in this anime it is. That's a pretty cool title though, Berserker.
Berserker's a pretty sweet
title, especially for like a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this gorilla moment that happens, suddenly full-sized Ruri bursts in the door and starts like knocking people out, and then the youngest sister had like nuns around her, and the nuns like pull out machine guns and start shooting the Ruri, and the Ruri like knocks them out and everything, and like she takes out a sword and starts cutting things and tries to kill the younger sister. Turns out that Ruri has been like mass produced, and so this one's been modified to be an assassin. So her arm turns into a sword, and she like just starts trying to kill people. And one of the nuns like grabs her by the face and slams her into the side of the train, and like the wall breaks, and she's like, "Get out of here!" And she starts kneeing Ruri. I'm like, "What the heck is going on?" And then Ruri like knocks the nun out, and she like goes after them. And I was just like, "This doesn't make any sense," but I'm loving it. And then the Chibi Ruri jumps off Sota's head. She's like, "No, she's my younger sister. I've got this." And she walks up to her. She's like, "Stop!" And the big Ruri just walks over her and completely ignores her and goes after Sota. But basically, they do the classic get on the last cart, detach it thing, so that the robot can't jump and their cart stops. And then they're like, "Well done, Sota, you got us out of that, death situation." The younger sister had a death flight, but now it's gone. And they're like, "So what do we do now?" He's like, "I guess we just walk." And that's what the episode ended. Like, it goes from really upbeat, funny, to really surprisingly dark and yet awesome, and then back to upbeat, funny. It was so weird.
But it has to end somehow. I guess that's why.
It was really weird.
There has to be a plot woven in somehow, no matter how strange it seems.
It was completely unnecessary, but seeing Ruri fight nuns was pretty awesome.
Did it, did anyone die, or was it
No,
just...
nobody died.
Okay.
Oh, Ruri got shanked, though. She got, the big Ruri got stabbed with a katana. Zero comes.
But
remember I
isn't
told
she
you
a robot?
Zero's supposed to be the main villain, yeah. So she got stabbed through the chest with a katana, and Zero's like, I don't know, I can't remember what she said, and then she's like, "You're safe," and then she walks away.
Oh, okay.
Or Miss Zero? I don't know. It's basically Zero from Code Geass.
Sounds like this is one of your more favorite harems of a long time, actually.
I don't know. I'm still kind of sour about last week, but it's picked back up.
Cool. Oh, well, at least we're getting. I don't know.
Akuma no Riddle.
You should put like an if statement that like you have like tags around like your anime and my anime, and then just make it
so it's buffered.
Yeah, so they don't come right after one after another.
So, last week ended on cliffhanger because two assassins were going after Haru at the same time. This week it picks back up. Tokaku gets beaten up by what's her name? Isuke. She gets thrown out of a window, and they're like, Isuke's dead. Or
this was
Tokaku's
the epic
dead.
thing where it ended on a huge cliffhanger, right?
No, kind of. So Banba, which is a zombie girl, you find out her backstory, which is it's not explained very well. It's explained through a flashback, which doesn't, I don't know, it was kind of weird. Like, she was stuck in a room and she was crying for help, and I think she was left there to die, and the room was locked. Like, she was supposed to starve to death, and she passed out. And then, like, people finally opened the door, but they were, like, photographers and media, and instead of helping her up, they would, like, start taking pictures. And so because of that, she hates light because she's blinded with camera flashes. Huh. So the first photographer she saw, she stabbed him in the neck multiple times to kill him because she just doesn't want light anymore. Now she's used to the darkness. Pretty weird. But anyway, after Isuke takes care of Tokaku, she comes to Haru, and Haru's about to be killed by Banba, and then she knocks out Banba. She destroys her. She's like, "I'm the one who gets the reward." Like, they were working together, and she betrays her, which was pretty cool.
That's kind of sad.
And Tokaku you finally find out I mean, this is pretty obvious, but, like, she's like, the curse was not a curse that stops me from killing. It's my mother watching out for me. Because her last words that her aunt said was, "Whenever you think about killing, think about this shrine, and your mother and I will be watching from you." You find out that her grandmother killed her aunt. Because her aunt was trying to run away with Tokaku from the assassins. She wanted Tokaku to live a normal life. And her aunt came, or her grandmother came, and just stabbed her in the back with a knife. And then she walked away. She let Tokaku watch her die. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So Tokaku finds out it's not a curse, and then she's like, "I don't need you to protect me anymore, Mom." She's like in this dream heaven world. She's like, "I got this." And she gets up. Somehow, after falling through a very large window, she's still able to walk okay.
Of course.
And then Isuke gets stabbed through the hand with a knife, and she beats Isuke up, and Isuke's like, "You can't kill me. I don't care what you do to me." And, like, there's a really nice close-up in Tokaku's face, and a really grim smile, and she says, "No, I can finally kill you." But she doesn't. She grabs her, and she chokes her until she passes out. And then she's like, "We're done. Let's go home to Haru."
This is pretty morbid.
It's pretty good, though. There's one assassin left. You find out that the rich girl, who they've already told you, like, she's going to be the last one because she doesn't feel like doing anything until everybody else is done. She's the one who gives flowers to the people who are, like, knocked out. Yeah, she puts flowers on their bodies. Kind of weird that she just waits for Tokaku to win, and then she just puts flowers on people's bodies. Yeah.
Weird.
And the girl who's in the Observer, she has a shower scene, and I don't know if they're tattoos or if they're body scars, but there's chunks of her flesh missing, like huge strips of her flesh, and you just see her bare muscle. And I don't know if that's just a tattoo or if it's
I
like
don't think that'd be a
something's
tattoo.
happened to her body. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Akuma no Riddle is pretty good. It's almost over now. And it's ending well. I'm liking it. And this is the one episode where the Yuri actually kind of sort of bubbled to the surface because Tokaku says, if it wasn't for you, Haru, I never would have realized that it was a gift, not a curse that my mother gave me. And Haru starts blushing and she's like, oh, I'm in love. And then Tokaku's just like normal. So, only episode with a bit of Yuri. Someone actually commented that they were mad that there wasn't enough Yuri, but I'm okay with the amount of Yuri
I think it
we
was
get.
kind of teased that this would be a Yuri series, right?
Yeah, it's pretty downplayed, and I prefer it that way.
Well, there's no guys at all.
He's the teacher.
Well, poor guy.
Yeah, I feel pretty sad for him. He's 3 students left. 4. He has 4 students left. Not for long, though. All right, you want to hit the button?
Yeah, I kind of wish we can... There we go. Talk about something together. Did you watch Captain Earth this week?
Yeah, well, we missed 2 weeks worth, right? So
we
gotta
have to
cover
talk about it
both.
twice.
So let's talk about the first one first.
The first designer child was introduced. The red hair guy.
I like him at first until the next episode came out. But basically, this episode I really liked. I really liked the Earth Engine original more than
Ordinary.
I like
Yeah.
I like the souped up version you find in space.
I like it, yeah.
It's more, I don't know, it's more maneuverable.
I love
It
the
just
launch
looks
sequence.
nicer.
It looks pretty sweet. It's like a railgun. It's cool.
It's kind of bullcrap though. They're like, you have 3 minutes to beat them, but we're gonna spend a minute launching you.
It does take a minute. In the second episode we just watched recently, he didn't get in the fight until 2 minutes and 59 seconds left, and I was like, oh geez.
That's a lot of time wasted. But it was a good fight that he had with the red hair guy.
It was.
I did feel for him. I felt sorry for him to an extent.
The red hair guy.
Yeah. To an extent, until you find out that he said, sure, use my photo, and then he got depressed about it. That's kind of your own fault.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't have every designer child turn bad. You know? I was hoping that it wouldn't go this designer child, this designer child, this designer... Well, it's been doing that,
The
though.
way I see it is very much like what some Power Ranger series have done. When I think this was in a Ninja Storm, where the Zords were like wild things. It might have been in Wild Force, where you basically had to tame the Megazord pieces.
Yeah.
And every episode, it would be like a rush. Would the bad guys get one or would the good guys get one? So this is what that feels like to me, which I don't mind. So far, 2 have gone bad, but we don't know
they're
how
not
many.
even trying.
We don't know how many will go bad or good.
I guess
But
so.
Teppei doesn't have his sense, right? He doesn't
Yeah.
know. And plus, does he have to make out with him to get them to become good? Because I don't think he would
Well,
do
how
that
did Teppei? Teppei just became good.
of his own volition.
Yeah. That's just kind of what he became.
Yeah.
So anyways, that episode ended. It was the red hair guy got cocky, and so Captain had an easy time.
I like that a lot. Everybody calls him Captain.
Captain had
He
an
just-
easy time of kind of accidentally getting rid of his head. I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. In the next episode that we just recently watched, the whole thing's revealed. And I liked that it focused on Akari a little bit. I like that.
I did like the focus on Akari. What I did not like was that I don't like that the designer children, whatever their background is, they keep incorporating it into their daily speech. It's really annoying. Like the red hair guy keeps saying normal bets or
Yeah, I know.
busted. Come on, dude.
Yeah, that's
You don't work there anymore. Now you're an evil alien. Just act like one.
And I don't know.
That bugged me, man.
The idol thing, I was like, not another idol.
The fight with the idol was also kind of uninspired. It was very short.
Well, she was just like a mobile cannon.
Immobile.
Immobile cannon.
But it was still kind of boring. It was more exciting with the Akari side, and I think they wanted it that way. But the nice thing with her fight was the way it ended.
That
I've
was
been
re-
wanting
that-
Daichi to do this since day one.
Yeah.
And he finally did it, and it was so cool.
Did you see that that his gun has a couple stages?
Yeah.
When he was shooting, the first one popped up, but it looked like there was a couple others that
Yeah.
could pop up too.
I
That was
think
cool.
it gets stronger with each one.
I like that the way Akari got out of her containment. I thought that was pretty sweet.
That was pretty cool. You aliens better not underestimate the magical girl.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty
then
sweet.
the girl kissed her and oh no, I thought it was. I don't know. I think the series is really good, and I was actually on the edge of my seat for that episode.
I'm worried that it's going to get repetitive with this, though.
That's what I was saying.
With the designer
was
children.
I not saying that last week? I was like, now that they're all in suits, I'm worried that it's going to become pretty
also,
repetitive.
Teppei looks very scrawny in his suit, unnaturally so.
I'm wondering when they're going to let him get his powers back, because the past two episodes he's been I'm useless.
It's going to be next episode that happens.
I'm useless.
I watched the preview.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I mean, he says he's useless, but I think the system they have is pretty good where Daichi takes care of things on Earth, and then if they do fail and they end up going to space as a Kilt Gang, then Teppei becomes a Kilt
Teppei
Gang.
can't go back up.
He can go back up.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
He broke his...
That makes him... He's not immortal anymore, but he can still go back up.
No, he can't.
Yes, he can.
He's human.
I watched the preview, man. He can.
Oh, well then...
He's not... It
we're
doesn't
not
matter if
supposed to
he's
know
human.
that. Yeah, you watched the preview.
It's so obvious. He can always go back. He's just not immortal anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Come on. The one who's more useless to me is Hannah. I mean, Pitts does all the work. Hannah just doesn't do much. She
Hannah
translates.
cheers.
Yay. And she eats sweets. And she's like, is it really okay that we're not doing any work?
She's just kind of like
I like Hannah a lot,
the
but
sub-fan
she
service.
doesn't do anything.
She'll do something eventually.
Maybe. She'll probably like kiss, what's his name? Daichi when he's in trouble and he'll get a power boost or something. I don't know.
Power boost? Okay, hitting the random topic button.
Captain America was good though.
It was
I
really
just don't
good.
want it to get repetitive.
I'm worried about that too. Okay, speaking
Black
of...
Bullet.
Yeah.
I like this episode. I think I liked it more than you did.
Where did I do?
I really liked the relationship between Tina and Rentaro. Because now it's basically like he has two daughters now. He has Enju and Tina. And it's fantastic. The way he treats her is so nice. The way that she looks up to him and the way she really does love him like a brother or like a father is really nice. I like how Rentaro's trying to teach more children because of the law that failed. I like that he's like, if the law's not going to help them, I'll help them myself. I like that when Kisawa denied that they're going to get married, Enju fist pumped. I just like little things like that. I really like this episode.
Okay. So I was taking notes. I was trying to because I always forget. I have bad memory. What I wrote was, might get some action exclamation point. Because at the beginning of the episode, we had that guy dying by the bugs, and it was really intimidating. Mm-hmm. Then there's a cool exposition about how this Class 4 can suck Veranium or something out of a thing, and they need 3 days, it's going to be overrun. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good setup.
Things are going to be awesome. It's going to be a good setup. Then, like, Sentensa, or whatever her name is.
Seitenshi.
Whatever. Seitenshi-sama? Is that what it is?
I think
that's what he calls her.
Yeah,
Seitenshi. I think he calls her Seiten-sama just because that's what he calls her, like princess. I don't know. Anyway, she comes up, and I'm like, totally parent. She has no outlines. It's really weird. Yeah. She's drawn so much differently.
I don't know if it's more noticeable now or if they're like accenting it more, but
all I know is that the episode started here pretty high because I was really pumped, and then it just like, in my opinion, split in half. Like I was like, this is why I don't like this show. Its split personality bothers me because all of a sudden we're having like the late night talk with the girl was really nice and everything. But then in the morning when they're having this really, oh, she was sleeping with you in the bed and
adorable.
Oh my goodness. But it bothers me because it doesn't seem like it fits. I don't know how to explain it.
I don't see a problem with that. The thing I did have a problem with was the fight that was at the very end. I don't like how Rintaro is basically fighting the exact same way with every opponent. He always ends it with the axe kick.
Axe kick, yeah.
And he's just always the same. Mix it up.
I mean, the only thing that mixed up is his initiator, like, or his.
It was more interesting with Tina, and she barely did anything.
Yeah, the only thing she did was just
choke the girl out.
Yeah,
that was more interesting. I don't know.
I like the whole idea that they're gonna have an adjuvant or whatever it's called now, which means it's like a team. That seems like it can get interesting.
There's gonna be one more pair that they get.
I guess I just want more action than the series is giving me. I know that character building, side plot stuff is good.
It's funny because you're more about character building than I am.
Yeah, but this series, I think, because I'm already 8 episodes in, it's begun to weigh down on me that I'm wasting my time.
And people have been telling us that it's not actually 24 like we thought, it's 13. In which case, the pacing problems will need some work.
Like, if they're gonna, I'm assuming is this gonna happen, they're gonna get into the big battle. Like, next episode...
I think it's gonna be one more episode of getting another group.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be the big battle.
Because we're on episode 8, this is the most recent one?
I think so.
9, then 10, big battle for 10 and 11, and then 12 is the finale. And then I don't know what they're doing for 13, but it's just, honestly, I'm just not as amped about this show as I was
They're
before.
probably gonna kill the level 4 or whatever, the stage 4, and then Katagane or Kagetane is gonna come back. He's be like, hey, I'm not dead yet. And then Rento's gonna be like, gotta fight.
Rento's not even, but Kagetane's not even a threat anymore because Rento hasn't even revealed his true power.
Yeah.
So anyways, you know what? Honestly, the big problem
but it's more, sorry to cut you off. It's more so about Enju.
Yeah.
I'm still they need to address her corrosion rate more.
Yeah.
Rento doesn't ever think about it. He says, he did mention that he doesn't want Enju to fight, but he doesn't talk about a corrosion rate. He doesn't have a solution for what's going to happen to her if it does happen to her. If it doesn't happen by the end of the season, I'll be very disappointed.
I guess what's happening to me is I came into this series with huge expectations for what it would be, and now it feels like it's not, and I'm not changing what I'm expecting from the show every week quick enough in order to enjoy it. Because I assume it is enjoyable, but because of what I'm expecting, it's just not enjoyable for me.
I guess. Maybe your expectations are just askew.
I guess so. I think you ruined it for me. This is going to be the Titan of the season, man. It ruined it for me.
It is the Titan of the season, though.
I hope not.
But
The season sucks.
It's got walls and monsters.
Yeah, but I'm not saying, like, literally. I'm saying it was going to be that
meant
big.
in terms of, like, how good it is? No,
Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that.
Oh.
I meant in terms of, like, similar plot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then. Looks like I've been led astray for 2 months. Okay, hitting the button.
Hit the button, man.
Oh, so did you watch it?
No.
I did. So, Ping Pong is awesome. What episode are you at?
Still 3. I haven't watched any.
This series makes me so amped when they play ping pong because the animation and all of the subplots that they throw in there are so cool. Now, I don't know if you're going to keep going with it, but I'm just going to talk about it. At this point, by episode 8, characters are having huge turnarounds. Kong, Wang Kong, the Chinese guy, he got destroyed by Kazuma in the last, he got destroyed by Kazuma. So he's been training against Kazuma now as a robot, like robot arm program with Kazuma's moves. He was training. Kong has also softened up a lot because he's been training a Japanese team. He knows Japanese now. It's been a year. So they're like, by episode 7, they're at the Christmas, and then a couple months went by now and now they're second years. Okay. So Kong is good. Everyone assumes he's good. He's just wrecks his first opponent, gets to the second round. Guess who comes back? Peko. And Peko is, I'm thinking Pecco's supposed to be the main character of this series. Even though Smile seemed like it. Because you know how Smile keeps saying, enter the hero, enter the hero, enter the hero? And then that wink thing? It's revealed in a flashback at the end that Pecco was the guy who put on a funny mask and says, I'm that guy, and he was like inspiring Smile.
Okay.
And so now all of a sudden Pecco was training for the past year, and he can now use both sides of his racket like crazy, and he's improving at such an intense rate that it's insane. He just wrecks Kong, like destroys him, and Smile goes, welcome back, hero. And then that's kind of cool. Huh. Smile is on a 50-win winning streak, just destroying everybody. And he's
better than Pecco? Or is Pecco better now?
Smile seemed legitimately nervous when he was looking at Pecco, so I didn't want to know. But the thing about Smile is everyone's calling him the robot because he's analyzing and he can just perfect movements just destroy. And so now there's the big 4. There's Kazuma, who's pretty much the best in Japan. Mm-hmm. There's Kong, who's fighting to get back to China because he got sent here, right?
Right.
Then there's Pecco, who's rising up, actually understanding his talent. And there's Smile, who I think has peaked at this point, is kind of getting way too arrogant and is going to get knocked down. So I love the and there's a bunch of really good side characters. Like there's this girl who's always with Kazuma who likes him, but Kazuma's just completely straight-faced. Doesn't have anything else but ping pong in his life, right? So she kind of left him, got frustrated. Sanada, who is Kazuma's the second on the team that Kazuma's on, and hates Kazuma because all he cares about is ping pong. Sanada likes that girl, and I don't know. Honestly, the animation I've grown so attached to it now. It's so good for ping pong. And on what they do though, none of it's CGI, but the animation, they have the thing where they're dancing with the ping pongs before, and Kong does this cool thing where he goes, pff, catches it on his fingernails, and and then one finger, and then rolls it into his palm, and all of it was drawn. It wasn't CGI. And it's so cool, honestly. This animation for this one is launched pretty high up it's higher than Baby Steps. It's lower than Haikyuu, and Ace is still higher because it's been going on longer. But
Baby Steps is lower than Haikyuu?
Yeah. Huh. Haikyuu's great. The episode that came out today, it was really good.
I didn't watch today's.
Yeah, so Ping Pong was great. All right. Ping Pong the animation. I'll have you know that's what it's called.
Oh, the Irregular Magic High School. Did you watch it?
Yep.
This was a good episode, man.
It was really good.
They addressed what you had a problem with, or were worried about last episode. They said, this flight magic is going to change the world. They finally did it. Yeah. This is a mark in history. This is going to change magical history.
I was watching this show for this episode, and I actually, for the first time in this series, appreciated the attention to detail that they've been putting into it. Because it doesn't seem cheesy when they sit there and says, oh, it looks like the hardware needs a little more processing and it's a lot of, the scions are a little too much. That makes sense because they spent so long explaining it. to the audience. Okay? So because they spent so long explaining it to the audience isn't like, oh, why are they talking about it? It makes sense. And so now they don't have to spend as long. And I like it. It's good.
I don't know. I think they should spread it out more because the techno babble last week was just atrocious. But this week was good. It was much more character development. The student council president has joined Tatsuya's harem.
Yeah.
Which I honestly did not see coming. But I don't know. It was pretty cute. I'm shipping that now.
I like the crystal eyes thing. I like that they, girl with the eyes that can see the spirits and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really care about her.
We knew that was because Tatsuya was worried about it. And we actually got revealed that he is a robot.
Kind of. We don't know for sure if he's a robot, but he's been experimented on.
No, they used the word built. They said your mother built him.
I think he's more like a cyborg.
Well, yeah, but I think...
Whatever, he's a Terminator.
Anyways, it's
his mother that did something.
And he's not actually a brother.
And he's a failure.
Yeah.
He's a complete failure.
Well, how?
Well, his mother failed at building what she tried to build. I think she wanted to boost his magic power.
Oh, so he was a failure.
But she failed.
The gray-haired guy's I don't like him.
He's generic.
So, I don't know. What happened with that car thing at the end?
It just spun out or something.
No, it didn't. The driver said a magic spell and broke the tire.
Maybe. I don't know.
He did. He was driving and he's like, something muttered it. Tire burnt out.
Honestly, I wasn't paying attention at that point.
Oh, he was trying to do it, but
there's
honestly...
like 6 people trying to cast multiple spells to do different things on that car. That's not going to end well.
Yeah, no, I don't know why everyone... I know why everyone was freaking out.
They're all panicking. Come on. There's a
in the
burning car flying at you.
Tatsuya's going to Superman it up, man.
I don't think he will.
He will. Jump out of the... Like, stop it while flying. It's going to happen.
I don't think he has the flight device on him. I don't think he would carry that.
He would. I would. So. Would you not?
I would, but he wants to mass produce it. And he wants to, the
what better way to show it off?
But he doesn't want to show it off right now.
But he needs to save his beloved sister.
She could save herself. She could just freeze the car and it'll be fine.
Honestly, this series is just... It's so mediocre, though. Like, I'm talking about it.
And yet this episode was really good.
But I was sitting on the couch. It was my last one to watch before the podcast. I was like, dang it, I want to do something else. Like, I don't want to... I don't know.
I start my Saturdays with this, and I like it because it's not so good that I'm, like, have to be really paying attention, but it's good enough where I do get into it. I wish the redhead got a bit more screen time, because I like her a lot.
Who's Canon? I totally don't know who that is.
Who?
The Canon girl?
The purple-haired chick, isn't she?
Who is she?
She's just a girl who's participating in the thing.
Oh, I just forget.
And that one girl is also in his harem now.
There's too many random characters that aren't...
There's the redheaded girl, there's his sister, there's the president, there's probably the girl in the discipline committee.
And who the heck is that brown-haired girl who's all over Tatsuya?
That's from like the first or second episode.
Oh, I don't remember. And then
I remember her. I like her.
That really tired-looking girl who was her friend.
She's not in Tatsuya. I do like how alright, Miyuki needs to really get over her brother because it's at the point where it's kind of annoying. Yeah. Like, she's like, Miyuki, do you want tea? She's like, no, I'm not thirsty. I didn't have to stand in the hot sun like my brother did for hours.
That.
It's like, what is wrong with you?
I was like,
he's fine.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? Honestly, shut up. Like, no one cares about you.
He can take care of himself.
You're such a sub-character. There's so many more interesting girls in this.
And then they did something like, please, like, oh, your brother's so cool. And she's like, yeah. And she like swoons and they're like, yes, we got her to shut up.
Honestly, I think that's what everyone else is thinking too.
I mean, come on. If he's thirsty, he'll get himself a drink. You don't have to dote on him.
Yeah, she's way too hardcore about that whole thing. I don't know. But I love the difference when Tatsuya and... Is it Miyuki? No, I'm totally wrong.
Miyuki's his sister.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Good, I was right. So Tatsuya and Miyuki, when they're together in a professional family setting, Miyuki is vaulted high in a family setting.
Yeah.
But then when they're in school or professional...
Where it's more practical.
Tatsuya's vaulted and Miyuki's completely ignored.
That's really cool.
It's really interesting to see that.
I do like how she's like, I'm not the only one here. You should greet my brother.
Yeah, but like they actually support each other because when Miyuki is being lowered and Tatsuya's hired, he tries to lift her up.
Yeah.
But then when it's the other way around, Miyuki will defend Tatsuya. I like that. It's good. It's interesting.
I think whatever his mom did to him involved something with his emotions.
Yeah, well, it says his heart can't handle hatred or anything like that.
Well, he says his heart can't feel anything.
Well, maybe he's just being a pansy.
But that's bullcrap because he feels for his sister.
Is that cool today?
He's pretty close. But he actually shows emotion, so.
Yeah. Like, is hardcore an emotion?
No, but like, he shows happiness.
That's true.
He shows embarrassment. Not rarely, or very rarely, but he shows it sometimes. Man. I don't know. This series is average, but it has moments or episodes like this where it dips above average.
Honestly, though, because of what it's done, it's holding up its world way better than Black Bullet, in my opinion. Which is why I kind of like it more than Black Bullet at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, just my little opinion.
Nanana's Buried Treasure.
You watch this one?
Yeah, of course. I'm trying to remember what happened.
Yukihime's brother and that little girl who
Oh,
was
right.
part
They
of that raid.
transferred into. Okay, so something interesting about this episode, which is both funny and weird, is Tensai got mad for some reason. We don't know why. And she tells Jugo, I'm going home. And she leaves the episode. Like, she's out for the rest of it.
Yeah.
She doesn't come back. She's basically like, I'm done. See you later. I'm just done with this. What the heck?
I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah,
we lost Daru too. That made me sad.
That was pretty sad. I love me some Daru.
Well, you can totally tell that Jugo's trying to be friends with Yukihime's brother because he likes Yukihime. I think he does.
It's not Yukihime's brother.
Yes, it is.
It's the boss chick. Remember who he had to deliver the cake to?
No, that's Yukihime's brother.
It's not Yuki. She doesn't have a brother.
She doesn't?
No.
Oh.
She's the boss girl who had to deliver the thing he thought was cocaine.
So then who's that? Oh, we met that guy.
Yeah, we met them in that one episode.
Oh, I was confused then. Oh, so he was in that room with them?
Yeah.
Oh, they were his age?
Apparently. Well, just him.
She is how old?
She's in elementary school.
Oh,
she's
okay.
like
Interesting.
11. She has a fear for men, which was kind of weird. So the guy that shows up, the
now
villain.
This whole episode makes a lot more sense to me.
How did you think that's Yukihime's brother? Wow.
It just kind of...
You gotta pay some more attention.
Well, I just didn't. I was hungry and I don't know.
I don't remember the guy's name. It escapes me. But he's voiced by Kirito, which is pretty cool. Oh. The new villain. I like him for one reason and one reason only. He just destroyed Yuiga. Oh man, watching Yuiga squirm just brings me so much pleasure. He didn't call him
Four Eyes. He called them
shitty 4 eyes.
Yeah, he called them like crappy glasses.
Oh man, I love how much he just burns Yuiga. As someone who still hates Yuiga's guts, it makes me feel so good. Oh, squirm 4 eyes.
Yuiga got wrecked. But how the heck was he communicating telepathically with?
We still don't know how. No
Probably,
idea. Maybe he has a Nanana's collection. I do like how he's like, oh, it brings rain, don't need it. He sells it.
Yeah.
I didn't like how Jugo's like, I used to think the same thing, that if he doesn't help me find the killer, it's garbage. But thinking it's garbage makes Nanana sad. Look, it's a pretty understandable thing to do. If it's no use to you, it is kind of garbage.
Well, it's not garbage, though. It could help a community that doesn't have rain.
One man's garbage is another man's treasure.
I guess
but still garbage to him.
But the thing is, Jugo is falling quickly in love with Nanana, and so he doesn't want to do anything to hurt her.
She's a ghost. She can take some pain. It weirds me out that she's so... I don't know if it's afraid, but she definitely doesn't like the new guy. When all he did was ignore her. Like, he didn't do anything to her.
He must have done something more.
And I hope he did, because it's just like, it doesn't feel like it's enough of what he did. Just ignoring you, kind of not even going to the same room as you, unless he actually needs to know something. It just doesn't seem like enough to warrant that kind of reaction.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do like how he doesn't seem to harbor anything against Jugo. He just wants to do his own thing. And he kind of looks like he wants to show Jugo more about the world.
Yeah. It seems interesting. Honestly, I can't peg this story. And you know what I was thinking? Halfway through the episode, I'm kind of bored. I was thinking a little bit, like I was a little bored. But it's probably because there's so much mystery that's not being talked about that I'm beginning to, like, want that to be revealed.
I don't know. Jugo, or rather, Nanana's Buried Treasure has never bored me.
Really?
As of yet, yeah.
Well, it's not
I'm
like,
still very excited.
I wasn't bored, but I was kind of feigning in and out of interest because it's just, there's a lot of dialogue. You know what I mean? It's not like I don't like dialogue, but it was hard to explain. I don't know.
I don't know. It's really good. Taking Tensai out, pretty good idea. I don't know why they did it, but it's a good idea because, like I said last week, she was kind of being overused in very predictable ways. So just having an episode where she's not in is kind of nice. I don't know. Predictions of what happened? I think she might have hired that girl to do something. The girl didn't do it, and she just paid her the money back. That might have been it.
Yeah, something about research finding or something like that.
I think that was probably it.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I like that Kagetora is that right?
Yeah, Kagetora.
Kagetora is kind of questioning Yuiga and saying, why are we not supporting the first teams?
Yeah, Yuiga, in one sense, this makes sense. I can understand where he's coming from. Like, I don't trust them because they're better than me. And if they wanted to, they could do everything on their own. That makes sense. That's not a reason to betray them twice. Like, come on. I hate this guy.
I don't know. Yeah, like, the series is exciting. I'm excited to see where it's going, and I can't wait another week, I guess.
I do like that the girl who swoons over Yuiga was also very curious about that. She didn't call Kagetora out, like, don't say anything bad about him. She's genuinely curious.
Which is nice because there's a limit to how much you can be, affected towards somebody without having rational thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be happy until Yuiga Is that even a
Lugia?
Lugia? I guess.
Lugia is like...
I combine Yuiga and Lugia. I won't be happy until Yuiga falls into a bottomless hole and never comes out. But what happened in this episode? Oh, I felt so good, man.
I just had a random thought that has nothing to do with Nanana.
What?
It's June.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
What?
Aren't we watching movies?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about that at the end.
That's exciting. I just got really excited all of a sudden. Now I have to find time for that.
Yeah, you gotta make time for our movie watching. I mean, we could watch it alone, but I'd rather watch it with you.
No, I'd rather watch it with you. Anyways, we'll talk about that later.
You,
huh?
Friggin' last week, completely shunned me when I told you I love you.
Oh, okay, let me explain this to everybody, okay? I am a pretty, the fact that I'm talking on a podcast is pretty intense, because I'm a pretty big introvert, okay? Now, the fact that I was quite very aware that there was about 250-ish people going to listen to my reaction of a gift. I love the gift. Awesome. Super excited.
Did you hang up the one with the boobs?
Not yet. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. Like, are you figuring out how to...
I'm figuring that out.
Okay.
Anyways, the pirate one's going to go up soon, because I need to just find pins, and I couldn't find any when I said that it was going up. Anyways, you're like, put me on the spot to open a gift, have great reactions, and you're like, I love you, man. And I'm like, I love you too, man. Honestly, I'm gonna return that to you a week later. You're a great friend. You're a great guy. Don't put me on the spot like that, okay? Fine. When it's your birthday, I'm doing the exact same thing, man.
All right.
I'm gonna put tons of layers, so it's really awkward when everyone's like, "Oh, he's opening," and I'm like, and there's a bunch of silence, like, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" See, it's awkward. I'm sorry, man. I did my best.
Just like how I went silent with you?
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Good, bro. I forgot the rest.
All right, let's hit the button. I forgive you.
Baby steps.
All right, I actually took notes on this episode.
Did I?
Baby steps was
Oh, I did too.
Baby steps is really good.
Yeah, it got really good.
This was really interesting. They go through an entire year in this episode, and yet at the same time, it's paced so well that it doesn't feel rushed in any way. Development is still there every time they skip.
They really needed to do the time skip, though.
Yeah, to get H-On up. Even through, like, when they went 6 months, he was still at the same level.
Yeah.
He hadn't, like, bursted through his own
he's
skills.
just slowly getting better. And what I noticed is, like, he did another tournament, the one we were talking about before. He did good, but then he lost. I like that he hasn't won a tournament yet.
Yeah, I like that too. I like it a lot. I like that we're exactly where the first part of the first episode was when he was in the circuit a year and 20 notebooks later. Yeah. Now we're there. I don't know if you noticed, but Eiichiro is drawn bulkier. He's drawn bigger.
Oh, he was. And the girl noticed too.
She oh man, she wants some of that.
She noticed. And
she wants that H-On.
Oh, he did. That forearm definition?
Yeah, but they're drawing him bulkier. He's looked like he's matured a little bit. I like the dynamic between his other classmates. Kuroko never does this. Actually, most sports series don't do this, where it actually shows his classroom life.
Yeah.
And, like, that one guy who's always jealous of him, and, like, he's happy that he's finally above H-On in the rankings, but H-On's like, okay, I'm down that much, but given how much practice I'm doing, this is within expectations, and he's okay with it.
Yep.
He's satisfied.
I like that Takuma came in and was like, I need to talk to you, and I was like, oh,
I love that.
Is he
being bullied?
But then they just talked, and then he left.
And then instant respect.
Yeah, H-On just got so much respect.
That's great. I really love the way this anime is going.
It makes me really pumped, especially because I love tennis.
One thing that I didn't understand, or no, I don't understand it, is really weird. I don't know if you noticed this. There were pauses between dialogue just slightly long enough to make it awkward.
Between who?
Between H-On and Natsu, mostly.
Why is that awkward?
It was really awkward. It was like, hey, Natsu. And then, oh, hi, H-On. How are you? Oh, I'm okay. You know, it was just really weird.
Was that when she was ignoring?
No. This is before that.
I like that she did that. It was a little cute. It was like...
I was like, take the hint, man. Come on.
I was like, clearly she doesn't want you calling her by her last name.
Like, I love how everybody in STC's just trying to get them together. They're like, come on, Aniki, you can do it.
And then there's like the girl who was checking out his forearms. It's like, oh no.
She's like,
First name? It's just like,
I love that that's a thing.
Ripped.
Oh, it's
I'm shipping
good.
it. Nachan H-Chan.
Well, I think most people are. The other girl has had no development. We don't care about her. On the subject of Nachan, though, her voice is starting to get really grating. I don't know if you notice it.
She doesn't talk much.
It's for good reason.
Yeah.
When she has a lot of dialogue, oh man, my head hurts. I have to turn my volume down. Yeah.
I've never really noticed anything that bad about Nachan's voice.
It's I don't know, every episode before this it's been fine, but I think it's just her love of H-On has made it go even higher.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a little much.
Babysit is great. The thing about sports anime is a lot of it's depicted in action right? There's a lot of character development, which we talk about, but a lot of it's depicted in how great the action looks. So,
Yeah. What was I going to say? Along with the awkward pauses in dialogue, there were also awkward pauses in terms of static shots where the camera would remain still just a little too long to make it awkward. I mean, these are just minor nitpicks, things I noticed.
Yeah.
They don't really make the anime any worse. It's just something I noticed. But man, this episode I really liked. I love how when they went to New Year's, like he couldn't invite her, but she couldn't invite him either. And they're just like totally in love with each other at this point, but at the same time, like it's going places, but at the same time, it's not. It's good, man. This is good. Baby Steps is, I like him so much more than Haikyuu right now.
Thanks, man. I really like that. I was really shipping Baby Steps at the beginning, and you were like, this sucks, man.
This is so much more interesting than Haikyuu.
Oh, well, I differ. I really hope Haikyuu comes up next, because, no, it's your turn.
Hey, Valkyrie in the Darkness. So, this is going to be a slightly long part because there's something that I need to go step by step, which is it's going to be very displeasing to you, and I know exactly why it's going to be displeasing. But it's just something that I need to tell you that happened, and it was horrendously weird.
I'm listening. I'm just incredibly hungry. I'm going to go get a banana.
I mean, we could pause while you
No,
go get your
just
food.
no. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Well, I have no one to talk to if you leave.
I'm right there. The bananas are literally
Oh,
right
okay,
there.
they're pretty close. All right, go ahead, get your banana. Hey, did you steal my banana, you bastard?
Right, G?
Oh, man, okay. Can we talk about this?
That was so funny.
Ace of Diamond is so good right now.
I laughed out loud. I don't know how many times because like everyone's like hit the ball. You ate my banana. You jerk. And it's just like no, Raichi doesn't care.
I love this anime. I love Raichi. He's such a good antagonist.
Exactly like Sawamura though.
He's the
like,
exact same thing.
But you know what's hilarious? Sawamura is watching the game the whole time, and then that catcher's getting so pissed.
He's
at
like,
him.
pitch the ball. Don't you want to warm up your shoulder?
He's like, I'm gonna punch you. Because at the end, he like changed his voice, and he was like, there's nothing I can say to that. That was a good play, man. And he just claps, and he's like, I'm going to punch you out.
Oh man, Ace of Diamond is just getting absolutely amazing. It's just been so good.
It's good. Ace of Diamond is like one of my favorite sports series. Kuroko's good because the severe action is great, but because Ace of Diamond has so many characters in it, I love how they all react. I love how they ruthlessly kick the pitchers. He's like, stop ignoring him, kick. And I love when the guy hit the home run and the coach was not expecting it. Matsuro or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, and he's running, and then Sawamura was like, way to go, Matsuro! And he's like, no honorifics. Sawamura no chump. And it's just like, it's so sad.
Oh, it's so good. I love how every single time Tetsu is up to bat, the atmosphere completely changes.
I love how understated his hardcoreness is.
Yeah. And when Raichi accidentally catches it, he's afraid. He's like, oh god, I just incurred his wrath. And I love how Raichi has that nervous, like, he has the best laugh.
He does.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, and how hardcore was the catcher today? That was cool.
Oh, Miyuki? Yeah, it was great, man.
Like the fact, like I was like, holy cow! Because if that batter had swung, he would have got hit. Miyuki, he didn't even realize he stepped into it. That was really cool, and he didn't even care. Like Furia had to dodge the ball.
Yeah,
he went whoo, and then like ducked down.
This was such a good episode. Oh man, if you guys aren't watching Ace of Diamond, you should be. It's great.
It's, what 33 episodes in at this point?
I don't know, something like that. But it's good. I hope it keeps going. I think it's going to end when spring ends, though.
Well, season.
Yeah, the season. Speaking of seasons, next season of Kuroko got announced.
When's it coming out?
Probably next summer.
Oh, excellent.
I'm excited.
What about Titan? Is that fall?
Still have no idea.
Can't wait. That's all I'm waiting for.
I'm just waiting for more Kuroko. I can wait years for Titan. I don't care. Same way I could wait years for Hajime no Ippo. I waited a long time for that new season to come out.
You gave up on Hajime no Ippo.
No, I waited for it to finish so I could binge it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't feel like watching it week to week. Because I binged the first season, which was 70 episodes, and the second season, which was, I think, 25. And then I watched the movie. That was a lot of Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah, that is.
Someone was like, hey, you guys should review that. I'm like, I counted how many episodes there were. I'm like, it's not happening, man. Like, I can get by without rewatching it probably, but Spencer would have to watch the entire thing, and that's just not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
So, we should actually talk about Valkyrie.
So, let's hit the random...
No, don't you dare. Okay, so last week, remember, he saw the map, message said, all witches need to die, and then you'll find out the truth. Yeah. So, he was smart because they ran out of there after that, and then people come to check on that spot. And they're like a bunch of Germans. They've actually been shown in the opening, and they're like, okay, these guys, it's the middle of the summer. They're wearing long black cloaks and giant hats. And look, they're in the middle of Akuma where everybody's wearing shorts and t-shirts. You do not blend in with the crowd.
They're Germans.
At all. Okay, look, I know some German people, they don't dress like that.
I'm German.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you also don't dress like that.
I dress shorts and a t-shirt. I'd fit in.
Anyway, so Ryota says, because of this message, it's way too dangerous for witches to go. I have to do this alone. And they're like, no, listen, you'll die. You might die. It's probably a trap. And he's like, if it's a trap, that's fine. I might live because I'm not a witch. He's like, if you go and you're caught, you'll probably be killed. He's just totally a boss. He's like, look, I got this. Just leave
Ryota?
Yeah, Ryota, yeah.
Oh, he's really improved.
Also, I noticed that I'm the only one who calls him by his first name. Everybody in the anime calls him Murakami-kun, his last name. But for some reason, I just call him Ryota. I don't know. He doesn't deserve the respect of Murakami-kun.
What? Oh, yeah, you're just going to call him by his first name?
Yeah,
Doesn't that mean you like him?
He's lame. I do like him.
Oh, okay.
What?
In the same breath, you said he's lame, I do like him.
Well, I can like lame people. I don't know.
Wow. I'm really glad you support the crippled.
So, Murakami and Ryota, before he leaves, Kuroha, who still, by the way, doesn't know what love is, she comes to him and she basically confesses to him. She says, I don't want to live in a world where you're dead. Like, if you're not here anymore, I don't want to live. I'd rather die than see you die. And, like, Ryota understands that this is, like, a confession or whatever. Like, he sees that she feels for him. And he just says, don't worry about me. And that's all he says, and he leaves. And, Kasumi, I think that's her name, the PC girl, the girl who can connect to the internet. It's Kazumi, sorry. So Kazumi, she overhears this, and she's like, this is it. Like, this is my last chance. I have to get this guy.
She's the desperate girl, right?
Yeah, the one who's very overtly sexual. So she comes over to his place late at night, like 10 p.m. And he's like, what are you doing here? My parents aren't home. We can't hang out. He's like, oh, they're not home. Perfect. So she slams the door, and she's like, he's having trouble finding this place. Like, she's like, I'll do it. Don't worry. She hooks up on the internet. She finds in like 3 seconds. She's like, this is where you need to go. And he's like, okay, cool. And he's like, but the buses are like, they're out now. Like, you can't. She's like, that's fine. I'll just spend the night. And then she's like, look, this might be your last night. Like, you might die tomorrow. And he's like, I know. And she's like, do you want to have sex? Like, she just out there. She's like, I'm just saying, do you want to have sex? And he's like, he's flustered. Understandably, the dude's like 15, right? He's like, and she takes off her dress and she takes off her bra and she's like, let's have sex. Wait a minute. I wrote notes on this.
Oh, jeez. Why are you telling me this in such detail?
Because
clearly I am uncomfortable here. I'm shifting in my seat.
I already covered almost
My
this.
young unmarried ears are burning red with bright passion.
She straight out asks Ryota if he likes Kuroha, and he says no. Of course he denies it. He's 15 years old. He's gonna deny it. And that's when she says, okay, let's have sex.
How old is she?
She's the same age. They're all the same age. She takes off everything. She takes off her panties. She's like, let's do this. And then, like, he's like, no, there's no way we can do this. And then she says the goddamn quote that every anime girl can say, that, am I not good enough? That line gets...
That's not just anime girls. That's what every girl thinks.
That line. I'm so sick of this line because it always gets them. I'm waiting for the day where the protagonist will say, no, you're not good enough. These notes go pretty long. But she says it another way. She says, am I really so unappealing that even now when I'm fully naked in front of you that you're not turned on? And like, I mean, come on, 15-year-olds, they can get turned on by a lot of things. It's not that hard. So, she takes everything off. She tells him to massage her breasts to make them bigger. This is a running joke in manga where if a girl's breasts are massaged by herself, they'll get bigger. And if they're massaged by a guy that she loves, it works better. I don't know. This is in a lot of manga.
This is really awkward. Do you really have to keep explaining this?
Yes, I do. Detail? And then Ryota is like...
Can you skip over the parts that I don't? Oh,
and then Ryota is like, what the hell? This isn't a manga. That's not going to work. And she's like, you keep telling me I have small boobs. It's time for you to take responsibility. Like, she's trying her hardest to get this guy to bang her.
This is awkward, man.
She just wants to have sex with this guy because she loves him. And it's just not working. It gets to the point where, they do the typical anime trip thing. He ends up on top of her. But
how do they end up tripping?
You know what? It's anime. It happens. I know it is stupid.
I'm beginning to get uncomfortably bothered here.
And then what happens next is actually kind of interesting. He touches her accidentally. He touches her body, and she does a mix of a moan and a yell in like surprise. And she's like, you just see it in her head. She's like, I can't do this. Like, she's not prepared. And she plays it off to him. She's like, oh, I guess a virgin like you, it's too much for you to have sex right away. And she's like, pushes him off. And she's like, but if you want it any time at night, I'm down for it. But you can see on her face, because he turned away, she's really freaked out for some reason. For someone who's so overtly sexual, him touching her just freaked her out. I don't know why. It was weird.
Are you done now?
No.
Can you please be?
She does spend the night in her place. This was actually kind of sweet. She puts her underwear back on, okay? So she's not completely naked, and they sleep in the same bed. But, like, they separate themselves as much as possible.
Why did he do that?
Because he doesn't want to sleep on the floor, and I guess she doesn't want to sleep on the floor either. And, look, actually, no, I won't say that. Because I know you're just going to call me out on it. So, she does something really sweet, where she asks, are you still asleep? And he doesn't say anything, and she puts her arms around him, around his back, and hugs him. And she just says, please don't do anything stupid tomorrow. Please. She really doesn't want this guy to die. You know, this actually makes sense. This whole scene. One, she knows for a fact that now he knows Kuroha's into him. And two, he might not make it to tomorrow. This is her last chance. It's like the soldier going out to war, one last night. It makes sense.
I think it's a little overdramatic, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely, but it still makes sense. When he goes to the place, he actually finds a church that's completely destroyed. There's some German written on it with blood smeared all over the church. And he goes to ask a lady, like, what happened. Apparently there's a big explosion or something, but they don't know what it was. And this stupid... Okay, he's like, I'm sorry for bothering you. And she's like, no, I'm the one who should be sorry. And the cops come and surround him when he goes back to the church. They're like, get out of here. Like, you should, like, this is private property. He's like, oh, sorry, I was just, like, really curious. I'm like, yeah, you can't arrest someone for being on your church, even if it's broken, like, destroyed. And they're like, arrest him. And he's like, what? And they put cuffs on him. They're like, arrested for, like, breaking and entering and resisting arrest when he hasn't, like, for saying what? And he's like, no, don't arrest me. And then he's like, add another charge. Like, this cop is like, I'm like, okay, obviously this guy's corrupt and knows about the witches. Yeah. And then, like, he gets saved by Kuroha. They're all wearing Gundam helmets. Like, they're basically Gundam helmets to hide their identities, but they wear the exact same clothes they wear every day. So it's not really all that great. Basically, Kuroha, like, creates a smoke screen, but then the one cop comes, she blows up their guns too. The one cop comes and, like, he starts choking out Ryota, and he's like, I won't let you get away. And the Kotori, like, teleports between places. And then she's like, I had something to do this episode. And then they run away together. And then you find out they had no idea who the witches were, the cops. They had no idea about anything. They had no idea that the church was anything. They just thought it was a church. They arrested him for no reason.
They're just being...
Are cops in Japan, like, this bad?
That was like that episode in Transformers, that first Transformers movie where that guy was being such a, like, rude person to Sam.
It just didn't make any sense.
It was really... I just got offended that they portray the cops like that.
This, like, I mean, I've never met a cop that, one, stupid, and two, aggressive, I guess. Every cop I've met, at least here in Vancouver, has been pretty nice. Anyway, one last thing I want to say. It might not be the last thing. You just
made me so uncomfortable.
I'm sorry.
Just so uncomfortable.
Look, it had to be said.
You don't have to say anything about it.
So Kotori, for some reason, the teleport girl, for some reason, actually I know exactly the reason, they gave her a stutter. In the past episode, she wouldn't stutter, she would just smile, but now she smiles and stutters, and the stutter's like really pronounced. It's like they're just trying to give her things to do. And every line of dialogue I noticed is the most throwaway dialogue they could give. Like, they're just giving her scraps.
Who, the teleport girl?
Yeah. They're like, when Ryota comes back to the lighthouse, she's like, welcome home. Like, that line didn't even need to be there. But it's just, they need to give her something to do. Look, if you have no reason for this girl to exist, other than, I'm assuming her power is going to be needed in the climax, and that's the only reason she exists. You don't need this character. Find another way. Right around it. Come on.
You just kill her.
You could do that too. I wouldn't miss her. She has had, like, no interesting development. Something that I've been told is that this is actually written by the same person who wrote Elfen Lied. That makes sense, because they share a lot of the same themes. This is written a lot worse than Elfen Lied was. It's not nearly as good. It's kind of like how the guy who wrote Valkyrie was the same guy who wrote Code Geass, but Code Geass was significantly better. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about Valkyrie. Oh, wait. Did that happen this episode? No, never mind. Nothing else happened.
Anyways.
It was, I don't know how to, it was weird. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just there.
To me, it sounds particularly awful. I don't watch anime to pretty much see softcore porn.
I understand.
I don't do that.
I understood where she was coming from, so I thought it was a legitimate reason.
But why not put it a little more differently than
what?
that?
What do you mean?
She's 15.
And?
The Japanese are messed up.
She's not Japanese.
They, the ones who made them, are.
Oh, come on.
It's just strange, man. Don't you think it's strange sitting there watching it thinking it's okay? Like,
no.
Don't you think that's weird?
Absolutely not.
I think it's weird.
Bah.
Like, honestly, you're sitting there watching 15-year-olds, like, flirt around naked. Doesn't that make you feel strange as a 21-year-old man?
No, because I don't feel anything when I watch them.
Well, I'm aware of that, but I'm just saying, isn't it just at a core level just strange?
No, I'm used to it.
You could have told that story and how much she loves him in such a different way.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's written well. I'm just saying I understand where this is going.
Well,
and this scene was completely unexpected.
Well, before anybody gets after me, I'm clearly not watching this series.
Yeah, I know.
Just for all the the sexual jokes and stuff.
Hey,
I already said over the top.
I already said last podcast that I don't recommend the series. Watch Elfen Lied instead. It's a lot better.
Next time, just don't go into so much detail. It's just so uncomfortable. I'm hitting the button just to wipe the memories.
Go for it. The world is still beautiful. Okay, another one that we have 2 episodes to catch up on.
We do?
Yeah,
we do.
So last week's the episode. Okay, you called it completely that a guy would come for Nikke. I was really hoping they wouldn't do that because they had just done the same thing for Levi. But, this was really predictable. We knew where this was going when we watched it. We knew that he was just testing her because of the small hints he dropped in the very beginning of the episode. But he does it in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
This anime escalated really quickly in the last, 5 minutes of the episode.
But then it got de-escalated.
But, no, okay.
Quickly.
We'll talk about that after. But I want to talk about this first. It was so realistic because it's exactly how you and I would have reacted.
We were talking about it.
Your fiance's in bed with another man. There is no rationality there.
Yeah, I would freak out.
There's just anger and hate.
No matter what anybody would say to them, oh no, he didn't do it. Why are you in the bed in the first place?
Exactly. There's no rationality. You lose yourself.
There's a couch.
Off with his head.
I bought it. Don't sit on the bed. I don't know, honestly, and it made sense. But he freaked out, sent her to her room.
The ending where she's just calling to him, look at me, and he would just completely ignored her. I was so hyped for the next episode, and they throw it all away.
I do not understand. If I had binged this, I would have threw the remote in the air and walked away because all of a sudden he's begging her to pay attention to him.
This is ridiculous.
It doesn't make.
They threw away everything they built up that last episode.
Yeah. Sure, he clicked again into his anger a little bit, but then, of course, Nikke's oh, I have to, make them understand each other. And so, this blonde guy apparently loved, Sheila, or Livy's mom.
Mother, yeah.
But then he got rejected. So then him and, Livy were having this thing where they both wanted to protect, Sheila.
I just said her name, come on.
Whatever. And then Sheila dies, and so then, Livy goes on a rampage, right? And it shows that, what's his name?
Bard?
Okay, yeah, Bardwin or whatever. Bard actually helped Livy conquer
the world,
much. And then said, you know what, I'm kind of done with this. It's overwhelming without Sheila, and he left. He didn't want the responsibility. And then, so pretty much Nikke sets her ways and forces them to get together in a gazebo.
She does the stupid thing where they're forced to stay together and work out the differences because they can't leave.
And if you notice, for any of our fans who listen to our awesome ending,
our tender surprise.
So we sung that, and we kind of hit some off notes, when you were singing. It wasn't the most beautiful rendition, but the thing that was so funny is that I was like, we did this version because Nikke started getting really tired and started singing her theme song really badly, which still sucks. I'll have you know, letting It's a Tender Rain break through such an emotional moment.
It's not a good
horrendous.
song, but it's really catchy. That song, after we did our Tender Surprise, was stuck in my head for 4 days.
The issue is they need minor keys or something. It's just too...
Look, I don't know anything about music, but
It's too peppy.
I like the song.
Well, it doesn't fit in the anime.
Absolutely not, but I do like the song.
Yes. So anyways,
I was happy to hear it again. It'd been 3 weeks. And
this anime is so strange because it's they fixed their differences and now they're joking and having fun. But then we found out that the announcer lady isn't an announcer lady.
She's Nikke's grandmother, yeah.
Yeah, so she's actually going to take part in the story.
Next episode, they go to visit Nikke's country, which is interesting. Must really suck to live in a country where it just rains all the time. I mean, we live in Vancouver. It rains most of the time, but not all the time. But Nikke's country apparently rains all the time. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, but sunny all the time is pretty bad, too.
He's a good mix. I wish we had more sun than rain, though.
I wish we did, too.
I don't know, man. I was really disappointed with the way the next episode went. I did not like them completely going...
It seemed like they got rid of all... I was excited because it's holy crap, this is actually getting drama, and then they just dropped the ball.
Yeah.
It was very strange.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't know. I didn't care for the
It's a classic shoujo, though, because the guys aren't given enough kind of manly attitudes. They're depicted pretty much as guys. There's the playboy, and then there's the wounded man. And everyone's rooting for the girl to fix the guys with talking and emotions, because obviously we have none, and then it fixes, and the guy's like, oh, yay. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a girl point of view. If you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I guess, I don't know, I don't really see it that way.
as much as Valkyrie in the Darkness is totally from a man's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay? This is definitely from a woman's perspective. Needing to fix the guy. That's why she's sticking around. She's
in love with him.
He's a job, too.
But it's part of, I don't know, it's why she's in love with him. It's part of the reason.
Yeah, I know.
She likes the fact that...
It's every girl's dream to meet a wounded man and help him find himself.
I don't know, it sounds like a hassle to me.
Yeah, it does sound like a hassle.
Give me one that's already fixed.
How about just give me one?
Why do you gotta be like that? Why do you gotta be like that?
Why you gotta be so rude, man?
Don't you know
I gotta hit the button.
It sounds
we
terrible.
should cover 2 episodes per week every time. That went by so much faster. Okay. Breakblade. So you didn't watch it either, did you?
I did.
You did?
I'm not caught up.
Oh.
I'm not caught up. I'm 4 episodes in.
How is it?
Oh man, it's good.
It's good, isn't it?
Breakblade is good.
Okay, so I'm...
Don't
I'm
spoil
not
anything
spoil.
for me,
Oh,
man.
this is wow, okay. Okay, so I'm
enjoying
going
this
to
one.
vague recap the newest episode that just
Okay,
came out.
but you do that first, and then I'll talk about what
Okay, so in the newest episode, I'm just going to talk about 2 really cool things. One was that glasses guy. He totally sent me for a loop. I didn't realize, like, I kind of knew he was faking.
The one on Zess's team?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not Zessa's team. He's you'll meet him later.
Okay.
So the glasses guy, he's kind of like Christian, actually. Anyways, he totally sent me for a loop. I was impressed by that. But this one thing that bothered the crap out of me is there's this strategy mission that they're running, and this one girl kind of runs out in front of everybody and just gets wrecked. Absolutely wrecked.
Killed?
Like, killed.
Huh.
Bloodily, like, you see her face go and blood, like, shooting out of her eyes and everything.
Okay.
And then they're, like, holding up her, like, dead robot body. And I'm not going to say anymore because everyone else knows that what happened afterwards totally made that pointless. And it bothered me. But that's what I kind of like about the series is it's so cool.
Breakblade is good, man.
Breakblade is
I
great.
love the main character so far, Ryguard. I like him a lot. What I don't like is how... I'm assuming they're going to develop this more, is how naive he is when it comes to war.
He's been living in the farm.
When they beat that one girl who's on Zest's team, and then Dan comes to help him, and then Dan's like trying to shoot her while he's down.
That's
and
what
then,
I was talking about.
And then Ryguard's like, no, she's down. He's like, look, she can still shoot us. And then Dan dies. I was like, Ryguard, you just killed the man.
Did
like,
you get
come
to
on.
the point after that?
The funeral?
Where they're at where he's like, what was the last...
When he was deciding to leave and he decided not to.
Okay, but before that, when the wife was there?
Yeah, with the baby. Oh, man.
That's what I was saying.
I was like, of course he has a kid.
I was like,
of course his wife
and
is
Ryguard
pregnant.
was so sick. He didn't even get affected. Like, he was affected.
But he was hiding it.
Holy crap. Like, that was, like, heavy. I was like, damn.
The only main character who I don't see... I see being the weakest.
It is Levi, though, isn't it?
No, it's Hodir. How do you say his name?
Yeah, Hodir.
Hodir?
Hodir or whatever.
Hodir. He's a pretty weak character. He's kind of boring.
Oh, but Signine, she's totally got the hots for him, for Ryguard.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I believe, remember when he called out Zess and he's like, Operation Get the 2 Airheads Together or whatever? When he said that one thing, he's like, get the 2...
I think because those two got
them
the
together.
king and the
but
queen
I
together.
don't think that Sigyn... Later on, you'll see there's like a flashback where you're from Sigyn's point of view or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's fairly obvious.
She's definitely in love with him.
And they don't spend any time together. Hoder and like, I haven't... Is this Sigyn?
One thing I noticed... Okay, by the
Do you
way...
know the exceptional fan service? What I'm talking about?
Yes, when that scene came up, I was like, this is the scene Spencer told me about. Man, I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed the hell out of that.
It happens a couple times.
I was like, first I was like, I don't really see anything in her. And then like, she actually gets up and like, oh, I see some things now.
It's just...
Did you notice that scene? She doesn't wear a wedding ring. She doesn't
She
put it on.
doesn't.
But neither does the other guy.
She doesn't put it on. And what's beginning to bother me is that they're together, but they spend absolutely no time together.
I don't even know if they're in love.
I don't know. Because it gets later on, like, he's sleeping in a chair, she's sleeping in her room.
Yeah.
They never see each other. And that's what I was kind of liking about the series, is because it's dropping really big hints that Ryguard is the one that Sigyn was wanting.
Yeah.
So,
Plus, it helps that she's exactly like Winry from Full Metal Alchemist. She's the exact same. And Ryguard, I was like, okay, blonde mechanic likes blonde a guy who can only use specific metal things. Yeah, that reminds me a little bit of Full Metal Alchemist.
but I like the four characters, and the world is pretty cool.
Zess is exactly like Hiro Yui from Gundam Wing. He's that character. The guy who's kind of cold and always serious, but at the same time he has that human side that you don't see too much.
Did you like in the first episode, the learning sequence of how he was trying to figure out how to...
I did and I didn't, because I just kind of wanted him to get to the fight,
But it was Have they? Oh, he hasn't yet. Okay.
I do like his
the
mech.
way they use his mech is freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like honestly, it's completely unexpected, but it's pretty funny.
I like the way that they don't understand his mech, where they don't know it's a cooldown. By the way, I looked at how long it's like 17 hours or something like that it has its own cooldown.
It's like almost a day.
It's pretty long. And they're like, no, it doesn't move anymore. It's garbage. Throw it out.
Yeah.
I like that they don't understand. I like the mystery behind the design of it. They don't know why it's created this way, why it's exceptional in some areas and awful in a bunch of others.
It seemed like it was a rush.
Yeah, to do something.
Patch.
And the thing etched on is we will fight destiny or something. So there's something that some people were fighting against really hard that seemed almost inevitable.
Which is cool because, and you know what I'm talking about, the world, right? Like there's these politic pulls and there's this nation over here that's really fleshed out.
The world doesn't really interest me more so. I'm very interested in Zess. I want to know more about him, more about his family.
You haven't gotten introduced to the Epic Commander, have you?
Apparently, no. Apparently Zess has a daughter, he mentioned in passing.
Like I was saying, he's 25.
Yeah.
But those girls are not 25.
One of them's
15,
like, what, 12?
14. The girl, like the
big boob one, she's like, what, 12, 14?
14.
She's young. A 14-year-old going into war?
I don't know. But honestly, like I was saying, it's getting ridiculous how they drew these people. And that girl who got wrecked by Dan or whatever, she got wrecked by the other guy. She suicided herself or whatever. She was like 14. They went to the same school.
I was kind of happy she died.
She's kind of annoying.
She didn't do anything. Yeah, she was kind of annoying. Well, like I said, the naive thing about war, because I like characters who aren't afraid to kill.
Trust me, it gets better.
Just tell me now, like, does he get over that? Does he actually kill? Okay.
Yeah. Dude, he wrecks crap.
I don't like it when main characters are like, no, he can go without fighting.
Actually, in the most recent episode, he literally says, I have to get over it. I'm not a murderer. He just says, I'm doing this. Because, do you want to know? I'll just let you know one thing they do to his mech, or do you want me to wait?
No, don't say anything.
Okay, I won't say anything. They actually are addressing all of your concerns.
His little brother, does he get more screen time? Because he gets mentioned a lot and nothing else.
I haven't seen him.
He's living alone. Like, how is this kid doing?
I don't know. He can't use magic either, so I don't know what's
going
on.
So I'm kind of worried about him.
So anyways, good series, hey?
I'm liking Breakblade a lot.
My suggestion,
a lot more than Ping Pong, that's for sure.
Well, Breakblade definitely... Oh, you know what? You didn't put it on here, but now that we're kind of talking about Breakblades, we'll talk about it later because you haven't caught up. But M3, did you try it?
I haven't started that one yet. You didn't like it? How far did you get?
Episode 6.
Okay, you got sufficiently far enough then.
Okay, let's just say a bunch of, like, cliches, a bunch of tropes, CGI mechs, which is a big thumbs down from me if it's not done right. It's kind of a cool world, but I'm not really interested, and I don't know.
Speaking of CGI mechs, this has nothing to do with Breakblade, by the way. I watched X-Men Days of Future Past this week. Really good movie. Not as good as First Class, but better than every other X-Men movie other than that. Really good. Fantastic action. Good story. Really funny. If you're a girl and you like Wolverine, you get some fan service. I'm just gonna say. Man, the CG in that movie is spotty. Especially on the Sentinels. It's not very good.
What about on Mystique?
Mystique is fine. She's wearing a suit by most of it. My friend didn't like the CG of her transforming and the CG on her eyes. I thought that was okay. It does look kind of plasticky, but yeah, the Sentinels just I don't like their design in the first place. They do explain why they look that way and not the ones that we're used to in the cartoon. But even so, it just, nah.
Interesting.
Also, there's like a couple big plot holes, but those don't really bother me. It's a comic book
I think
movie.
everyone can agree with me is that the biggest issue with CG in anime is it doesn't, and you might not know this, but it doesn't match up the frame rate of what's going on.
I don't know. It just doesn't fit.
And so, like, people are moving at really smooth, like, anime characters, the drawn ones are moving, and then the robot's moving and it looks like it's, like, rigidly jumping around the screen.
It depends on the anime.
And that's because it's not doing a good job.
I don't like how every anime these days needs to incorporate CG for some reason. I don't know why.
Like a contract or something.
But I see a lot of things they do is like they either make them as vehicles like cars, or as crowds.
Or crowds.
Yeah.
But the only CG that I ever saw in Breakblade was the crystals. That's it. Crystals was the only CG that I saw.
Fine.
Seems like there's a lot of budget in that series. It seems like we didn't even realize it was that good, and I'm kind of upset.
It's good. I also like the art style. It looks a little dated.
Zess is Levi,
but it's good. Yeah, it is.
And that guy from Ace of Diamond is Levi, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Captain, the guy.
That guy gets a lot of voice work now.
Yeah, he does. He's really good, though.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, X-Men Days of Future Past, that end credit scene, oh baby. Yeah, just don't mess him up. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, I never watched. See, the problem is I know that there's a reason for it, but I stopped watching X-Men after X-Men 3. That was
a terrible movie. So
I watched one of the Wolverine movies, but then
they both suck. So they're
not worth your time. In my opinion, there's way too many superheroes for me to get attached to, and I just couldn't get with it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
First Class, amazing, and the new one.
Well,
really
I went
good.
on Reddit and someone had this like photo timeline of the movies
Yeah.
all stitched together. So I read through all of that, and I kind of understand it. It seems like a cool universe.
I don't know the time. Well, let's just say the timeline's not the same after this movie.
Well, I know. I read that. Part.
Okay, they pretty much rewrite the entire universe.
Well, yeah, like they only send
Which they should.
They send one. That happens. That's canon. Except it's not Wolverine that's supposed to go back.
It was supposed to be Kitty Pryde.
No, it was
Wasn't it?
supposed to be some other dude.
Was it a guy?
Yeah.
No, there's a guy who makes a time machine, and the Kitty Pryde goes
That
back.
Christian guy that I talk about? Yeah, he's a huge
X-Men fan?
comic book.
Yeah.
So he knows all
Well, anyway, let's move on.
that.
Haikyuu.
Okay.
I didn't like this episode, but you did.
Okay, so the reason I like the last... I like the episode because I really felt bad for the Ace, and I really love the new character. The Noshina guy, or whatever his name is.
I don't know. Is Naoya or something? Noya?
No son, whatever.
We'll call him No Son. I don't like the Ace. I don't care about him at all. Because he was just introduced. I have no sympathy for him. And I've noticed that I don't care about Hinata at all.
I like him. He's a classic shonen.
I don't
like
dislike him. I just don't care about him. How many times have we seen the character who has something to prove, is good at one thing, and always gives big speeches? We've seen that character a million times.
Yeah, but I know.
And Hinata doesn't
Yeah.
do anything new to mix it up. The No-san, I'd rather have him be the main character. He's so much more
He
interesting.
was totally main character the last episode.
He's so much more
okay, so
interesting
I'm
than
going to
Hinata.
talk about this a little bit. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I watched the most recent one that came out today.
We're not recapping that.
But I'm going to talk about it.
We're not recapping that.
We're
We're going to have nothing to talk about next week.
We'll just skip Haikyuu.
No.
Why?
Because I need to watch this episode so we can talk about it. This is why you
Anyways,
shouldn't watch on Sunday.
Well, whatever. I can do what I want. You came late, man. I had tons of time to
You're
watch
the one who
anime.
wanted to push this podcast to Sunday because you had to do something
I
else.
am getting married. Life happens.
I can't wait until that excuse is no longer valid.
And then life still happens. I'll have a wife. These things will...
No, I'm not going to accept I have a wife as an excuse. That's bull, man.
Oh,
No, I mean, okay, look, having a wife, great and all. I'm sure it takes up some time. I'm not letting you use this as like a get out of jail free card
I'm
for
not
any
getting
situation.
out of jail. We still record every week for the past 2 months.
No, we missed one, remember?
No, we didn't.
Yeah, and then we did the double release that week.
Oh, we did. Anyways, I like Haikyuu because I really like the Ace's story. I have played sports where I have tried my hardest and failed, and self-confidence goes away.
Oh, you mean like every sport I've ever played?
You don't want to play baseball, man. You know what happened? That baseball game died.
Oh, that's fine.
Nobody wants to play with
I don't
me.
like baseball. That's probably my most hated sport.
Anyways,
Actually, no, lacrosse is worse. I hate lacrosse.
Haikyuu is... I still like it. They had really good character building in the recent episode that came out that really tied in a bunch of stuff here. And the team is coming together, and finally there's going to be a big game coming up soon. So
Well,
that's
they're at
kinda nice.
the last week's episode. They said they're going to do a training camp, and then at the end of that, I think there's a game. That's what they're supposed to be.
The thing is, Haikyuu, I still like it, but Baby Steps has more premise that I'm excited about. Ping Pong, I love the way it looks, and I like the intense action better. Ace of Diamond has way more interesting characters. So, again, I'm going to refix my sports list. Haikyuu's on the bottom.
Haikyuu's pretty low on my list in general right now. It's just I don't look forward to it every week.
The art style's really pretty, though, but...
The art style's nice. I love the intimidation guy. I still don't remember his name. And I really like Kageyama. Kageyama's really interesting. I like his story. I want to see him grow. I just don't care about Hinata. Alright, let's move on. No Game No Life. Oh man. Welcome back, Sora. He's back to being a badass. Having fun counting there?
Yeah, sorry, again, I just have somewhere to be in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
These podcasts are getting longer and longer and longer, but you know what? Whatever.
How many do we have left?
How many?
Yeah.
I think we're done after this.
Okay. So
Which is good. It's not exciting. I love talking to you people.
let's
but-
get on with this.
Okay,
then.
No Game No Life. I loved this episode.
It
Why?
was
Ask
so
me why.
good.
Please ask me why.
Why?
Minimal fan service.
Oh, man.
Isn't that great?
I
Proves that this. I was worried. I was really. You said it was going to get worse. I was worried.
I still think it's gonna get worse.
I was worried because I was like, because a lot of people saying, Spencer, you know, this is like a fan servicey series, right?
It is.
I was like,
It's completely itchy.
but I love the story, and you know what? The fact that this episode showed that it can still tell the story without fan service made me happy.
It showed that before, and this didn't need reaffirming.
Well, yes, I know, but I was getting really concerned with the last couple episodes.
Oh man, Sora, welcome back to being badass.
Yeah, really good.
Oh man, this episode was good. The one thing I had a problem with, I am so sick of Steph flip-flopping between trusting Sora and saying she shouldn't trust Sora.
But honestly though, Sora's doing some ridiculous stuff. He bet the entire human race.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it again and again and again, though. He's told her he wants to take over the world.
Yeah, and he says he can't lose. If he loses, then there's no point of even trying.
He said he's gonna take over the world. Like, what do you think that entails? Come on.
Yeah, so
I love how when people are knocking on his door, getting really mad, and Sora's like, if they don't have the balls to challenge me on this, and they're just gonna yell their opinions in the air, they're not worth my time.
I like how he put the war beasts in their place. Like, he can, like, totally straight lace.
Oh, the cold reading, yeah.
It's so good.
So cool.
And, like, how he said it was video games, and they're, like, freaking out, and he's like, and he called all their bluffs based off of, like, the stupidest thing, like betting, like, panties or whatever, so it was like...
Mine?
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny.
I'm not gay, though.
And so I like how Sora seems a lot more confident than Shiro at this point. What the heck happened at the end?
Oh, I know what happened. I'm pretty sure I know.
What was glitching out?
It was Kurumi. Remember her? The girl with the elf? I'm pretty sure that's the girl who came at the end. He's going to add her to the harem/party.
Yeah, but why was it glitching out?
Because it's part of her splitting them up. Part of the game they're playing is you can't be together. So Shiro's off in another universe or whatever until the game finishes.
But I thought they couldn't be more than 10 feet apart, or that was just a gag.
That's why she freaked out at the end.
Oh, okay. But he wasn't confident either. Maybe he's changed.
I think Shiro's still on the throne, but like her mind is somewhere else now.
Oh, I see. So they've separated but via magic. Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Because Kurumi lost because they were together. But
I like
now
all the
Sora
bluffs
alone.
and all the plays and all that stuff. I like
This is so good. I'm loving No Game No Life. It had a slump last week. I didn't care about the grandpa. I did like how the shadow of the grandpa came behind Sora when he entered the War Beast place.
It was really cool. And, it was a good final touch for the king. I think the king deserved a little more, and then it was done.
I hope he's never mentioned again.
But I like how it's like the little man taking on the whole world. And I love how they're flushing out all the facts.
I love the fight between Jibriel, I think her name is, and the War Beast guy.
In the elevator?
Yeah, that was so funny. I love the little girl that shows up, and they just start petting her, and she's like, "You're so much better than my grandpa."
And then he got so
gets
frustrated.
so mad.
But she's like she's swore them, like, "What the heck are you doing?" So the back to me freaked out, but he's like, "Why'd you stop, please?" Like this.
Would you stop, you assholes? Keep going.
This.
Oh man, it was so good.
It was a good episode. I actually was really pumped about it.
I'm so excited for next week. Oh man, Sora betting all of humanity. Just that one scene was done so well.
And the fact that everyone was rioting afterwards, realistic. It was good.
Yeah, it was good, man. This anime's good. It's ending soon. I'm worried, man. I want this anime to get another season. I really do. It's so good.
So we've reached the end of our topics.
Yeah. And it's June, so that means Studio Ghibli month.
So I believe, so this is what we want you guys to do. We sort of know the first one we want to watch. I want to watch Laputa.
We know the first two we're going to do.
I want to watch Laputa because it sets the bar high. It is, in my opinion...
Wouldn't you want to end it with Laputa then, to like end on a high note?
No.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of high notes in Ghibli movies. Honestly, I want to watch Pompoko. That is one of my favorites. There's a lot more going on, and you know what? The dub is actually really good.
I don't know, man. We watched Totoro together, and I didn't like Totoro.
Okay, this has a lot more going on than Totoro.
Good, because nothing happened in the anime.
This anime, Pompoko, makes me bitterly cry at the end.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, aren't I?
Probably. But whatever.
You know what, Totoro? We watched the entire thing. It was like 3 a.m. when we finished.
Listen.
And things were finally happening, and then the movie ended. I was like,
listen, Totoro is not an anime where you're expecting action. What Totoro does...
action. I just expected things to happen.
It was made for the Japanese people to remember what life was like when things were simpler. And that's what it was wanting to do.
People like it for wrong reasons, is all I'm going to say.
I like it because Totoro is cute.
Totoro is cute. But that anime is way overrated.
It's not overrated.
It's
over-expected. People who come watching it wondering why it's overrated expect too much. It's not an action film. It's not supposed
Nobody
to have a lot of
expects an
stuff.
action film from a Ghibli movie. I mean, there was the one with the war, but...
Laputa is good action, man. Laputa is really good action. But honestly, though, it's about the two girls and how they're dealing with their mom and the way the dad hangs out with them. And it's all about childhood imagination and how you do deal with that.
It bored me.
It may have bored you, but it has a really good place in my heart because of that nostalgia that it gives me. And that's what it's trying to do.
Anyway, every week this month, every podcast is going to be a double release.
Oh, so by the way, Totoro will not be reviewed.
Absolutely not. Both 2-part podcast review and then movie, as we usually do. So, you're getting 8 podcasts instead of 4 this month.
I don't really want to do Howl's Moving Castle, though.
Why?
It's not one of my favorites.
I want to watch it. I've never seen it before.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so you want to see it? That's fine.
So we'll do Laputa next week. Then we'll do Moving Castle the week after. And the other 2 are up to you guys.
Okay, these are my suggestions for it. I want to do Pompoko as one of them. It's about raccoons that can transform. Pretty awesome. And the other one I was thinking of doing is Porco Rosso. which is pretty good. It's a really good one, actually. Or Whisper of the Heart, because it's a slice of life.
I've heard of that one. I don't. It's slice of life movie. I don't know if I can handle that.
It has a pretty good triangle in it.
So anyway, tweet us at JMB Podcast with any Ghibli suggestions, or you can send us an email at jamesandbrownpodcast@gmail.com, or just comment wherever you're listening to this, either on Podomatic or YouTube.
Or Twitter. Oh, wait,
I already said that, man. Come on, pay attention.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, all right. Next week we get to do Lapida. I'm actually really excited. I want to see that movie.
So we're doing that as well as the review, right?
Yeah, as well as the recap. You mean?
You know what's pretty cool about that?
What?
It works out well. The fiance is leaving town with her whole family, and so my busyness goes from 100% to 0%. So I can actually spend
all of your business revolves around her.
Yeah.
What about work?
I don't work weekends.
Oh.
So, anyways, we can spend from like in the morning until whenever on a Saturday. Or even Friday, I'm not doing anything.
You're assuming I have nothing to do with my day.
You don't.
I do.
What do you do?
I do have something to do on
You
Friday.
sleep in all day on Saturday because of Friday.
Look, yeah, that's true. That's
okay,
true.
how about this?
No, I wake up early just for you.
Because of the fact that we have 2 to do, the next week's podcast is going to be Sunday. I'm just saying it right now. We need Saturday to watch this stuff. What other day are we going to spend time to watch a movie together? There's going to not be a day.
Yeah, you're busy throughout the week, aren't you?
Yeah, I work.
Oh, man, I don't want to move the podcast to Sunday.
It's not that bad. People aren't as busy.
It just messes up the recap because you watch the new series and then you're like, oh, I want to talk about the new one.
Well, I didn't talk about the new one, did I?
Because I made you not talk about it.
I showed self-restraint, unlike you and your gross Valkyrie of Darkness sexual exposition. That was disgusting.
I could have gone way more into detail than I did.
I was so fidgety. It was uncomfortable.
I could have gone way more into detail,
Plus the fact that I'm currently living in a suite that my parents, and it's not that soundproof, and my dad is currently like probably on the other wall listening to what the heck you're talking about, and I was trying to silence you, but you're going quite loud.
Your dad's heard worse, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure, but it's still uncomfortable.
He's had to listen to us sing.
Yeah, he has. He called us drunk Germans. Are you guys drunk Germans?
I thought he called us Russians.
Oh, yeah, no Germans. I don't know why he wouldn't have said Russians. Those Russians, they do crazy things.
All right, anyway, let's wrap up.
You wrap it up.
I'm Raj of James and Brown.
And I'm Spence of James and Brown.
See you guys next week with Lapida and another recap.
Bye-bye.